not starting sound.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can.
Hello, hi everyone. Episode 298 for Synth Geekery. If you're watching new, big hello to you. We've got quite a lot to do today in the show. If you're wondering what it's about synthesizers and that sort of stuff that you can see in this room, plus much more. We've got a bunch of products, and I promise you, not one of them will be over $500 US. So that's pretty cool, because I kind of feel like that's a nice little benchmark that people like to sort of gauge things by. But when it comes to the used gear, that one's out the window. We might have some absolute doozies in the price watch segment, so hopefully you guys will enjoy that. Big hello to the guys that have joined us on the show, and none of my buttons are working on this. Why is that? Why am I'm going to have to click manually today.
It's called a gremlin.
Yeah. We'll just go without it, no problem. Hi guys.
Hello.
Just a quick shout out to everybody. I'm just going to have to do this manually because I don't know how to do it any other way. We're going to say a quick hello to Daren. Hello, Daren.
Good day.
Mute you, mate.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's working. No. It's working. It's working.
Yeah. I'm having to click Ranzee as well. I've not got any buttons to press now. I'm having to click things. So
yeah, something's weird.
Yeah. Good day. How are you doing?
Good. And we've got Andy. How are you, mate?
Hey. Had a nice little short nap, so.
Yay. Sleep is only for people that die.
That's
okay.
Right. For the dead, right?
How are you, Ian?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good night. That's it from me for now.
Beautiful.
I guess.
Awesome. And Chris?
G'day, folks.
Yay.
I look a bit gloomy, but I'm okay.
You don't look gloomy.
Lighting.
Oh.
Lighting-wise.
All right.
I'm just going to say that, we got a few gremlins. I don't know why. It's flashing. I'll show you guys. It's got flashing lights and stuff. You can even see it flashing.
Yeah.
See that one there blinking up the top in the middle?
Yeah.
So, and if I press stuff. Hello?
Nada.
What are you doing? Why you not work?
Integration. No, disassemble definition.
I don't know.
Switch it off, wait 30 seconds and turn it back on again.
It's weird. But if I do change it to different, like, thingos, like if I change it to me, the lights flash. So it's just the shortcuts that have gone crazy. So the lights flash.
No input.
Yeah, the shortcuts. Let me just have a quick look here. What happened to me shortcuts, governor? Let me try this. Host, shortcuts, edit, find, host. Yeah, no, it's not registering it as a MIDI device. I might have a MIDI thing going on. I don't know. We won't even worry about it, guys. Not a problemo. We will just get through the show. Now, big hello to the chatties. I've got to click everything manually today, so I can't do things quickly. Hello, chatties. Hopefully that updates and refreshes. We are streaming. That's YouTube, you can see there. But we are also streaming on a whole bunch of different platforms, including TikTok. So hello, TikTokers. Hello to Twitchers. Who we got in Twitch? We've got just me in Twitch. Hello, me. It's a massive, huge audience there. And we also are streaming on Facebook and Trovo, and I think that's probably about it at this stage. Anyway, that should do us. Big hello to the chatties. You guys can see all yourselves there. Say, give yourselves a pat on the back and say, well done. Just do it, because how long since you've had a pat in the back and someone said, well done? That's the reason. Do we need a reason? Anyway, we should get stuck into shows, starting with the synth quiz. I think we should start with that today. Why not? Here we go. Hello, everybody. Synth quiz time, and I am your quiz master today. I don't know why, because I am. If you don't like it, write a letter to your Prime Minister or your President, and they will throw it in the bin. Right, this is your first clue.
I'm not telling my president. Sorry. So.
No, don't, Andy.
That's
I
your first
quite
clue.
understand, mate.
Do you want me to read it for you? Can you guys read? It's the letter T, T for Tom, and a little full stop, and then the space, and then the word voice. T dot voice. I could have said it a different way, but T dot voice is the way I've gone with it. If you don't like it, refer to that previous comment about writing letters to your president. Right, okay, that's the first clue. Randomly throughout the show, we'll give you 2 more clues, and so you do have to stick around and watch it, and who knows when they could be. It could be right now for your second clue. No, it won't. I'm just kidding. It's probably going to be a little bit later. Anyway, we should get stuck into some funny stuff, because I'm not doing funny stuff very well. Keep thinking I'm not going to be able to press buttons. This is going to be frustrating.
Yes.
Oh, no.
I'll try and remind you periodically.
Gah.
No buttons. No buttons, Rant.
Gah. Here we go. Everything's minimized too, so I've got to maximize it before I can press it. Hey, we got some automation going on. Yay, brilliant. Join us on Zoom, by the way. Hopefully the chat bot has actioned. Yeah, we've got some chats going. Where is the Zoom link? I'm going to pin that in YouTube. I mean, no one else is on any other channel, so let's just stick with YouTube today, I think. Might as well. Okay, so it's pinned. If you want to join us on Zoom, you guys can fill in those little 3 spots there. There's actually enough for 100 people, I say, each week. Anyway, let's get to the funny side. Stranger things can happen. You may laugh. You may not. Refer to writing letters to presidents. Selling my husband's stuff for the prices he told me they cost. Now, I should probably blow this up because this is actually quite good. Blow it up with a big bomb. There we go. It's $2,000 for the 2 cars, and then everything else is $249.
Oh.
Oh my goodness me! The coffin's probably worth more than that as well. Anyway, we should. Everyone doesn't like that because they're worried. Now, how do I go next?
Not me.
But how am I going to go next?
Well, could it be any worse? Why don't you try unplugging it and plugging it back in?
No, I've done that 3 times.
That's
All right, let's see if I can go next this way.
Doesn't work.
Can you just drag and drop to go next?
Yay! I can work it out. I did that. The next one is Flawless Victory! Hooray!
Yes. For those of us who can remember playing it.
I was never into it. I did try and play it a couple of times. Yeah.
Ouch. Yeah.
Yeah. Gump, 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 gump.
The finish moves are the best part.
Anyway, we've played that game to death, and no songs were ever made to number 1. Next, we have I like big knobs, and I cannot lie. I like big knobs.
Get
Yes.
sprung.
Yes. That one's for Daren's little friend, by the way.
I was going
to colour it in for you, Daren. I was going to colour it in, but I'm not now. I could make it purple.
But it's too late.
It is too late. I have got colour adjustment here. We can make it more red.
But the knob's not going any
We
different
can
colour.
make it blue and red. Oh, there you go, purple now. But
There we go. That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
But the knob's still white.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, next is this one. Maybe we should expand this a little bit for you guys. Bang. But can we replace the snare with a finger snap? Ooh. Oh, jeez.
You know how long it took me to get that snare? Get into the back of the class.
Yes. You are going to die. Next is I Okay, someone explain this to me. Alex Ball is not here. It's Alex's
I
meme.
saw this one online. It's a good one. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Is it to do with the colors?
It's Latino. No, it's the Latino version of the drum machine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 727 is the Latin.
So the guy on the right
707.
is, I think he's Puerto Rican or Mexican. I forgot the actor, where he's from, but he's definitely Hispanic.
Right.
So that's the 707 versus the 727, the Hispanic version.
Okay, I get it. That is good. That's clever. So I'm
it's
glad
very
I
fun.
put that in. Okay. Now, we're going back to the old bot, guys. So, sorry about this. We're going back to the old bot.
Back to zeros.
Yeah, because I just felt like it worked better.
I like it. I thought it was right the first
So voting starts at 0. It does tell you the options and everything. So here we go. Poll started for Meme of the Week. You can enter your poll by typing !vote space and the number that corresponds to your favorite meme so far. So 0 is the selling husband, 1 is Doorless Victory, 2 is Big Knobs, Daren, 3 is Finger Snap, not Daren, 4 is Brad 707. Look at them coming in. I can actually see them. That's on Ian's place. If you can hear birds, it's Ian's.
You can hear birds. You can also. I've got the window open because it's quite warm here. So, but there's cars going past as well. So I'll keep.
Oh, it's all right. I'm just getting some cool ambient.
That's good. I like the birds.
Get your votes in.
Yeah, the birds are great. Literally, there's a tree outside.
There is currently a tie between 2. So you guys have got to do more voting. Or there's a tie between 3 now. This is going to be a 3-way. This is going to be a photo finish. Oh, no, it's not. We've got a winner now.
For 0.
One more vote. Come on. One more vote. Don't put an exclamation mark after the Wookiee. It won't work. Or don't put a question mark after, I should say. Sorry. Just do exclamation mark. Vote, space, and the number, and press enter. Try that for your Wookiee.
5 wasn't an option.
Fluffy bits.
So here we call it exclamation point
being...
and question mark.
Yeah.
Question marks, right?
Question mark.
Exclamation mark.
There we go. One more vote. Come on, one more, and then I'll end it. Come on, the Wookiee. Try it again. Actually, you know what? I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote for the Wookiee. There you go. Well,
no end block. That doesn't work. Just 2.
I don't note. It's 5, not a valid number.
Exactly. It only went up to 4. Hence the question mark.
That's why I did it. Okay, are you ready? Set. Stop. Boom.
Ta-da.
The winning one is Brad 707. How do I go to chat? There we go. Everything's slow today. Brad 707, yay! And the one that was on your screen pretty much was that one. That's the one that won. Yeah. Well done. Meme of the week's done. Cool. Let's go to news. Oh, God. I can't do things quick. This is really going to be frustrating this week, guys.
You're going to have to chill. You're just going to have to chill.
We're going back to old school. Come on.
Yeah.
News time. It is this thing coming up first. I don't know why that has remembered the chat window in there. Let's fix that before we talk about this thing. You guys can just cast your eyes across it for now. Should that be 3? Is that correct now?
I'm right, but who's gone? Oh, is Andy gone? Andy's disappeared.
What happened to Andy?
Yeah, bear with me. I have to change rooms real quick. There's something going on here. So.
Oh, so you've just blacked your screen.
All right.
Cool, no worries.
Oh, yeah, he has. He's cool. All right, cool. Right. The Teensy 1U 8x14 MIDI interface. This is by a bunch of guys called Deft Audio. And there's actually a little video I've got teed up to. Well, not quickly teed up now, is it? It's teed up, but slowly teed up. Let's have a look at the video first, because you guys can have a little... Oh, come on. Seriously? I forgot to open OBS.
Robbie says it's one guy, not a bunch of guys, apparently.
Oh, okay. Well, a bunch of guys in his head then. How's that?
Yeah.
Here we go. Now I can do this.
Hi everybody, this is Andre, and today I'm presenting the new product by Deft Audio, and this is the unique MIDI interface that I designed, and it's available as the full assembled units or as a DIY kits, as you prefer. So over the years I tried all of available MIDI interfaces on a USB and a high port count as well, 8x8, and some of the Mod 2 interfaces that would allow you to do 16x16 and others that you can see around here. Anyway, well, I wasn't happy with most of them. Some of them were okay, but just too expensive. So I was really considering how I can simplify this. And several years ago, I started producing MIDI kits based on the Teensy microcontrollers. And these were basically let me to make the 5x5 and 8x8 cost-effective MIDI interfaces. What I'm showing now is the 1U MIDI interface, 8 inputs, 14 outputs. So not a joke. Let's take a look on this. So first of all, it's a 1U, as you may see here. It has, on the front panel, it has 4 pairs, so it's 4 ports, 1, 2, 3, 4, input and output on the DIN5. You have the remaining 4 ports on the back, so that would be 5, 6, 7, 8 input output, again on DIN5. So that gives you 8x8, right, on the DIN5. But also you have here 6 TRS-based ports. And these ports are configurable, and this is the unique feature of this interface, that it can be MIDI output port, it can be trigger output port, so you can connect it to the, well, to analog drum machines to fire up the triggers, you can connect it to the eurorack, so it's a 5-volt trigger, you can connect it to arpeggiator inputs on the synthesizer, and that would be driving your arpeggiator. So between MIDI, trigger, you can also select it to the sync output mode, and in that case it will be generating sync pulses like sync 24 or 8 16ths and quarter and half notes and the bars. So that could be again driving your other gear like drum machines and other stuff as the sync port, and you can configure that per port. So per output you can select what it is pretty much in the real time, and this is what that LCD screen is for. But that's not it. You also have the USB host input, so that allows you to connect the external USB keyboard, like, I don't know, MIDI keyboard or MIDI controller, and it will be routed again to the output as you would prefer. And also there are some analog audio outputs. So there are 2 pairs, 2 stereo pairs of the analog output, and one is a high quality, so that's an Boredbrain DAC. That's well, directly goes to your USB, to the DAW. And another one is the medium quality. It's called, well, medium quality output out of the Teensy. That allows you to use it, again, as an analog trigger. You can fire up with some drum machines from this trigger, or, again, use it for different purposes. So 2 stereo pairs of these.
There you go. And guess what? The buttons are working again. Hooray! I managed to fix it.
Ooh, hooray.
Which is why the video kind of disappeared. I used a different USB cable. I used a different USB cable. Yeah. So maybe it's like IRQ, the MIDI cable input. I don't know. Anyway, that looks pretty cool. Andy, you're still missing, by the way. Anyway, we have an interesting setup here. The thing, I guess, that most people would probably be interested in is the fact that you can actually build this thing. It's a Tindy store.
No, that's not the most interesting thing at all.
Well, I think it is, Daren.
Look, me and Ian don't build things.
You can just
No, we don't. No.
We haven't got time to sit around building things. But I will say it does look very interesting, because I've been looking for a MIDI, a multi-MIDI box. I've got a small one. The what's that? I can't remember what it's called.
H.
Remember what I said, Daren? Remember what I said at the start of the show?
Yeah.
I said that nothing in the news today is over $500 US.
500.
Exactly.
Right? So
it's
this
what I was thinking, good price.
This is only $250 US dollars.
This is
Built.
what I'm saying. This
Built.
is it, you see.
Fully built.
Built, exactly.
Yeah. You're looking at a bit of shipping on top.
And I like the way it's got the TRS. Is it TRS-B or is it TRS-A?
Actually, it's
AB,
both.
or-
I believe it's both.
Switchable. Yeah, software switchable.
Is it switchable? Right.
Yep.
I do
Yeah,
like
it says
that
both.
idea. I'm in the market for a new MIDI interface, but it hasn't got enough USB sockets for me. So I'm looking at the Maio XL, which is a bit more expensive, but
Yeah,
I like
the eye
this.
connectivity.
Yeah, that's got loads of.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at, Ian.
USB.
That's what I was looking at.
But I do like this. Like, it's a good price.
That's what I was like. It's like, oh,
You guys do know how
Yeah,
big
I like-
Teensys are, don't you? Do you remember how I showed you one
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago? That
Yeah,
was going into Europe. That's exactly how big they are. They are tiny little processors, these things. And this guy has made this humongous 1U, which is, device with MIDI and audio and a screen and USB. All of that is running off a Teensy, which Teensy 4.1 for those playing along at home. It's a 600 megahertz processor. I think, Daren, if you actually did decide to get your soldering iron out and have a crack at it, it's only $160 to buy it as a kit. So you're saving
that's
$90 US.
yeah, but that's $90 of pain, getting a soldering iron.
Yeah,
time.
not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I reckon it's worth it,
no,
Chris.
it's not going to happen.
$160.
I've done that in the
I
past.
did a
I'm not
little
doing it
bit.
now.
Look, yeah, I did a little bit in the soldering, and it's just like I just don't get into it, and it just annoys me because I'm not that good at it anyway. I don't know if I did lots more, it'd be, but I just don't have that time to sit around soldering.
Anyway, Darren, I actually
I
did
mean,
think,
30
did
years
think
ago,
of
I
this.
liked that. I quite enjoyed it. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I did think of Daren for this, mainly because that you'll be able to plug this into your Force, or if you've got MPCs, because it's MIDI and USB class compliant. So you'll be able to see all of those MIDI ports, all those audio ports, everything, all at the same time on your Akai Force or MPC. Ian, for you, it will work with your OP1.
Yes.
It'll work with that.
Yeah.
And what's the other thing you've got?
Organelle.
I don't know about
the
the organelle.
organelle.
If it does, it'll probably work with that.
Standard MIDI outs on an organelle. But what else have I've got? I've got so much stuff here.
When do you think you can buy two of these almost the same price as the MXL I connect with XL? Not quite, but almost two of these.
What, two of them?
What were you showing there?
Almost
Chris?
two of these for the price of an XL.
Yeah, I'm toying with the idea. Do I get both?
Oh, that's the kit.
I don't.
That's what it looks like on the inside
Do I get?
with its clothes off.
You see that,
Chris,
guys?
what do you say about it?
Look at that. That's tiny little processor in there.
Yeah, it's open source, guys.
Chris
so
is our internal technologist. What do you reckon, Chris?
I reckon it's pretty clever. I do agree with Rant that it's a tiny Teensy that's been broken out into a massive 44U case, which Wagyu would approve of because everything should be.
I
19
approve
inch,
of
shouldn't it?
because I'm into 19-inch racks. Look at my room.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a bit of 19-inch racks. I like a nicely stacked rack. So, but this is quite seemingly, quite a grand kind of selling, but it's quite a simple execution. It's just take something and multiply it by many, many times. Many MIDI ports, and the Teensy has 8 inbuilt hardware serial ports, so he's used up everything there. And the clever stuff, I think, is the 3.5mm configurable jacks, because he's done, as well as the cool software-driven TRS swapping around polarity thing, which I did have a sneaky peek at the circuit because I thought that was quite interesting. And it's pretty complicated the way he does it, but that's the only way he can really do it. But and the Yeah, I was a bit confused about the USB hosting. Were you, Rants? Because I get that you can plug a MIDI keyboard into it, but people are also talking about using it as an audio interface in their DAW, and I can't quite work out how that works because there's no like Type B USB port on it. The only thing I can think of is maybe you plug it into the actual Tiny itself, but in this kit it's not broken out. So am I missing something here? I don't think it sort of really integrates with your DAW. Yeah.
Don't think there is any plugs on the back, is there?
Yeah, I think it's just it's very much sort of a standalone thing rather than it's standalone as well. I think it's very much a standalone unit.
It is standalone, yeah.
So
on the back,
there's some confusion out there.
It just has the MIDI DIN connections on the back and the power connection. Yeah. So it would be that USB connection, I would say. So maybe it's dual purpose in that sense.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just looking through the notes here about the USB. It says USB MIDI and class compliant audio through the USB port. And it also serves as an additional USB host port for routing USB class compliant devices. And there's a standalone operation. So maybe it's a mode and he's got it so that you switch between them. Which would make
maybe
sense.
There's some sort of interesting cables that you wouldn't normally use going on in here.
Wait, the power supply on the back is a USB connection.
Is it?
Yeah. I'm wondering if he's using the power supply as also the data connection as well.
Why isn't he showing us the back?
I don't know why he's not showing the back. You can see the back in your panel that you showed before with the bits. There.
Yeah, it's just
but that looks like a DC.
Connector.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I thought. But it says here, power source over USB or with an external 9. Oh, okay. Sorry, I misread that. So you power it through the front on that USB port, or you power it with the DC barrel at the back.
Yeah.
That's what he meant. He means. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because I didn't quite get into the weeds with all that sort of nitty-gritty stuff, but what I did find out that I liked about it is how it's Eurorack Fun compatible. So if you guys are into Eurorack, it's Eurorack Fun. So it's not just MIDI. You can use this to, send triggers and stuff like that, which I think is pretty cool. And for $250,
not CV though.
You have to admit that's pretty cheap, isn't it?
It is cheap.
Yeah,
it's very competitive.
very. When you look at the other MIDI interfaces and compare what you're getting.
Yeah, where is he based? Is he based in Germany?
USA.
It ships from the USA, and it's a Tindy store.
There's our problem, and
so
there's our problem.
You're going to get stung.
We're not.
Yeah, you're going to get hammered. Yeah, you're not. Get stung. We are. We're going to get hammered.
Don't gloat, Rance. Don't gloat.
Well, we had our little win.
We'll have you over the. Oh God!
We'd had a little win in court. I'll be taking that. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, we were too eager.
All right. I think we should move on. That was good. I like that. Big.
Like the product. It's a shame it's having to come from America.
Well,
true.
you know what? You could get someone to buy it for you. Get someone to buy it for you, Daren, and then they can ship it to you. And then you can say it came from
Rance, thank you very much for that offer.
The bigger shame is not that in America. We already know what the bigger shame is. So
yeah, I mean, even if it was in Europe, it was still 60 quid worth of import duty, unless we have they sorted out a new deal with Europe. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe they can pop it to Canada. Maybe we can do a deal with Canada, and then we can get
Canada. Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, or you could just fly over there, Daren, and pick one up.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, the import duty would cover your airfare.
Exactly. Now let's see if this button works, because I'm going to change products. Ready, set, hooray! Go. It works. Changing changing USB cables. All right, over to you, Chris. Boredbrain.
Well, okay. I better actually open the right page. Okay, so this is a expanded module from Boredbrain that looks into their this other product, which I will show you.
Can we do full screen you?
Yeah, go for it. So that guy there is the module that is their main big mega mixer that they released a couple of months ago, I think it was. But they've go back to the main one again, Rants. That'd be good. So what they've done is they've got an expander for this, and it's basically gives you another 3 channels. So it expands the module. It's got a volume control on each channel. It's VCA based with a CV input. LED indicators for visual feedback of the VCA. It has 2 effect sends. If I recall, they're switchable. Mix bus assignment. You can assign to 2 different mix buses depending on what switch positions are. It has dual mono configuration, or it can be 6 independent mono sources, so it can be 3 stereo channels depending on how you set the jumpers. And it has pre-fader and post-fader direct output ports for all the channels. So that means you can change whether it's pre-fader or post-fader in the mixer, so you don't lose any functionality with the expander, which is good. This is only 8 HP, so if you need an extra 3 channels in your whatever it is the original mixer is called, which I forget its name, then it's kind of Xcelon. So if you need an expansion of Xcelon, this is quite an attractive thing, and because it's only $269. The original unit is about 800,
900 or something. Yeah,
$900.
Yep.
So you're already putting out quite a bit if you've got that mixer. So this probably isn't much of a big deal to get extra ports if you need them. And there's another product coming up that I shall not talk about yet.
Yeah,
until we've watched the video for this.
Let's have a little squiz at the vid.
Yeah.
Squiz at the vid.
Hey everybody, it's Adam again from Boredbrain. Yes, it's launch day, and today we're introducing 2 new modules that expand the flexibility of our Xcelon Eurorack mixer. The Xi3 Mini 3-channel mix expander and the Cue PFL channel monitor. With these,
we're going to talk about the Cue in 1 sec, so he's perfectly timed to introduce it.
additions, the Xcelon system becomes even more capable, scaling from 6 to 12 stereo channels with pre-fader listening, direct outputs, and flexible effects handling. Let's start with Xi3. This is a compact 8 HP channel expander that adds 3 stereo or dual mono channels to the Xcelon mixer. It's designed for signals that don't really need constant hands-on control, but are still important in the mix. Things like effects returns, stereo submixes, or parallel process signals coming back into the system. Each channel has a volume knob with CV input and LED indicator. Also has a pair of stereo effects send knobs and the familiar A-B mix bus routing switch, which you'll find on the Xcelon mixer and XB3. Each channel also has a jumper pair on the back to switch from stereo to dual mono mode, so you can essentially use Xi3 for up to 6 additional mono inputs. There are also pre- and post-fader direct output headers on the back for all 3 channels, which connect to our I/O, TRS, or DB25 modules, or even into the Cue module for pre-fader monitoring. Next up is Cue.
All right, just hold off on that for a sec. Now, just a quick one before we get into Cue, Chris. I thought we would just quickly discuss just a little bit about the Xcelon mixer. You saw it in the video. So it is kind of, in my opinion, it's kind of something that we've shown a while ago on the show, and I'll just go Chris's full screen on that. Where it kind of came into existence was the guys, the Boredbrain guys. They made this because they wanted to have a bit more of a quality mixer in Eurorack land that did similar things to a desk mixer. But compacted it down. You can see that's actually pretty cool, that mixer. It's got the standard, sliding fader, and you've got the
long throw.
Yeah, you've got your mutes.
It's almost half the module height. It's
Yep.
a decent fader.
Yeah, it's really, really good. So you've got a little bit more control with Unity and all that sort of stuff on there. The inputs are really well laid out on the left-hand side, and then on the outside, on the right-hand side, you've got the outputs and FX controls. Also, the fact that it's got the A/B bus, which is really cool. So that kind of just gives it an extra sort of, an extra ability that a lot of mixers don't have in Eurorack land. I think the only thing that I said that was probably negative about it, I'm just going to go back to us, is that I was hoping that it had some sort of digital connectivity on it.
Yeah.
Now, that is something that they do with an extra module. So, but the only thing negative about that is it's still stereo pair. So we're still not quite getting separated channels out like some of the other manufacturers do. So what this does, and if you guys haven't noticed, is it actually is, even though they say it's a 3-channel expander, is actually a 3 stereo channel expander. So you could actually use it as a 6-channel expander. So pretty decent price, $269, I feel. You obviously can't buy this and use it on its own. So that's the negative part about it. But if you were in that Boredbrain Xcelon ecosystem, it's, and I really think a lot of people who do go into this and are looking for a good performance mixer, this is probably one you should look at, because it is he's done it really well. He's used a lot of good quality gear in it. All right, Chris, should we go on to the next one?
Okay, so the next module is the Boredbrain Cue, which is basically a cue mixer. Queuing is, if you're not familiar with it, it's basically being able to listen to an audio signal before you send it out to your main front of house output, which would be good if you need to tune a synth before you bring it in, or you need to get something tweaked exactly right, or you want to make sure you've got the right sound before you bring it in, or you want to make sure it sounds good with the rest of the mix before you actually bring it into the audience. So this gives you that ability for all 12 inputs. So you can now take that. So again, it plugs into the existing Xcelon mixer, but now this gives you an additional cue output. So you can just sort of draw one of the channels into the cue mixer instead of the main mix, and you can hear it through headphones because you can plug the headphones straight into it. So you can, DJ style, have one can on one and the other one listening to the front of house monitors. So it's expanding the Xcelon mixer again. Obviously, I don't know if this is one of those cases where they thought of this after they designed it, or whether they intended to do this from the beginning, and it was very well designed from the beginning. Hats off to them anyway, because this is quite a sought after feature, I think, in live Eurorack setups. So if you've got this mixer and you need to do some queuing, this would be quite handy. And this one is this one's less, isn't it, Rance?
$249.
That's $249. It's about $30 less.
Yeah.
But it's basically the same. I'll just check if I haven't missed anything from Rance's good notes. They talk about how good the headphone amp is, of course, which is important, especially if you're a DJ, because you want a certain number of ohmage for the certain type of headphone you prefer. But also, I guess, not just DJs these days, anyone doing live sound is pretty finicky about their in-ear monitoring and stuff, or on-ear monitoring. So it integrates with the module. It's got Eurorack level stereo outputs. Why wouldn't it? It's a bit of an odd thing to put in a feature list, but there you go. And the individual buttons do light up, so that's pretty cool. Do we want to have a look at the video, or is it self-explanatory, Rance?
Self-explanatory, but let's have a look at it in operation, because you'll see the buttons.
Which adds pre-fader listening to the Xcelon system. Cue has 12 individual buttons that correspond to channels 1 through 12. That's 6 from the main mixer, and 6 more from any expanders like XP3 or the Xi3. There's also a PFL button for the effects returns, and one for Mix A, letting you preview anything in the system. All the signals you select are sent to a dedicated cue mix that can be monitored on headphones using the phone's jack and level knob, or sent out of the left and right outputs at Eurorack level for further patching or routing. What's also cool is that Cue can be connected to the I/O module, letting you monitor audio from other Eurorack sources, not just Xcelon channels. So for example, you can discreetly check an oscillator for tuning, or preview an entire patch before routing it to the main mix, all without repatching. So that's
So there we go.
Cool.
Two cool modules to sort of expand your brain setup. Well done, Chris. Thank you very much. Actually, you stick with us,
You're
Chris,
welcome.
because you're going to do the next one. But before we do, we're going to get comments from the Super Sleuths. I think maybe we'll ask Andy. Andy, I know you're a bit of a Eurorack head.
Yeah.
Have you sort of glanced over the Boredbrain Xcelon mixer, and have you had any much to do with that?
A little bit. I mean, I'm mostly used to the hex mix that I have. It's really crazy, but it's also big, takes up a lot of space. So it's not for everybody because it takes up like many HP and also many U. But this is an excellent mixer. They also make other cool stuff too. They have like a SPDIF module. So if you have SPDIF gear you want to plug into the system, it's very clever actually. So if I didn't already have a mixer, I'd probably get this one. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Boredbrain.
I just wish one more send and return would fit, but it won't. Yeah, it's just asking too much. I like having 3 sends and returns, but
Okay.
Their module list is actually quite big. It's 1, 3, 4, 1, 2.
I had to look them up again to make sure I didn't have any. I thought I had at least one of theirs, but I don't. So
21 modules. 21 modules in their Gambit. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Good stuff.
The SPDIF one that you were talking about, is that the OptiX, the ADAT optical converter? They've discontinued it. And there is a SPDIF one as well. Sorry, you are right. There's a different one. The SPDIF one is a 2 analog inputs into SPDIF digital. So you've got 2 inputs and 2 outs. So that's 169 if you want to do that. Still, in my opinion, not enough digital channels. There should be this day and age. We should be piping out buku digital channels with the technology that we've got.
Interesting.
Yep. Expert sleepers, once again, still well and truly ahead in that digital sort of realm, and they've been doing it for a long time. So, right, should we go to the next one? We are going to go to Divkid. Good old Ben.
Do you have your second suck of the Sav Stinger lined up, Rants?
I do. Oh,
because this is
A second suck of the Sav.
Why did it disappear on me?
Oh,
Yeah, I know. Why do you do that to me? Ready? Set?
yeah. It's second suck of the Sav. Yep. People may remember Divkid Mutes from probably about a year ago now. I think it'd be at least a year ago.
2023.
2023.
Yep.
How time flies.
Indeed.
So this is a new version, and it may not look very different, but the eagle eye of us will notice some visual cues that have changed. There's now an LED on each switch, which wasn't there before. But there are a lot of other things that have changed behind the panel. So the original Divkid Mutes and this one both have very similar functionality. It's basically 4 channels of muting, so inputs, 4 inputs, 4 outputs. Those inputs and outputs can be operated, turned on and off from the switch, giving clickless muting. It has this 3 position momentary action things, so you can flick something in if you put it to the right, I think it is, and it'll snap back again to off, so you can bring something in temporarily and it flicks back by itself, or you can permanently bring it in by flicking it to the left. So why is there a new version? Well, they've decided to ditch the Vactrals and have gone to fully VCA mixing now. They found it had other advantages. They thought that it was a better choice, if I understand correctly. But so this one, the old one was Vactral based, this one's VCAs. They've improved that. Also, the LED indication is now more useful. I'm trying to think what it is. There's visual feedback on the channel status, whereas before you just had to glance and just sort of look at it, which in darkness, as you can appreciate, is a bit tricky. A switch position in the darkness is not a great idea to be to indicate status. So there's an LED now, so cool. So I think once they went to needing to turn on and off LEDs, they realised they were going to need to have more active circuitry. But there are other advantages. They claim that it's a bit more accurate, which I can believe because Vactrals vary from Vactral to Vactral. So you would get a bit of variation between channels, and I imagine when they assemble it, they probably have to match them, and it's a pain in the ass probably to build. So I think this is probably a wise choice for everyone to go to VCAs. I'm a little on the fence as to whether going active circuitry versus passive circuitry is a good move. That might be a deal breaker for some people who are a little bit worried about, distortion or signal degradation or noise. Not quite sure. We do use VCAs all through our Eurorack, all over the place. So I'm not convinced either way. Sitting on the fence there. It is a little bit more expensive than the previous version. I believe it is €114.95 instead of €100. The original one was. But we've got LEDs, we've got better functionality and improved usability. That's all I have to say about it.
Okay, no worries. What I might do though is jump across to the Ranzee. I just chucked the link in the chat, ranzee.com, Divkid Mutes link. I've actually done a blog article on this one, and you can, with all the news articles, you can check them all out on the blog. It's all there. But the most important thing that I've done is I've done up for you guys a comparison table. If you guys are interested in the Divkid modules and you want to know at a glance what's the difference between the Mark 1 and the Mark 2, which Chris has already so articulately described to us. This actually lays it all out if you guys forget what Chris mentioned before. So there is quite a few little sort of nuances in there. Obviously, the most important one is that the muting circuit is going from Vactral to VCA. Interestingly, there's been some chatter about this on social media, where some people do feel that VCA does lead to other types of interference. In terms of, you're getting away from Vactral, you've got some issues with, what's the word? You've got some issues with keeping things the same.
Filtering.
But with VCA, you haven't got the issue of keeping things the same because you can get your VCAs to behave the same, but then you're going to introduce new issues. So it depends on what sort of things that you're feeding into it and how it behaves, which is interesting. Price-wise, it's about the same. They were $100. They're now $114.95. I don't know if that's a translation from pounds.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Just to say, as a user of this module, I have no trouble with the Vactrals. So if people didn't like it, I don't know why, but since it's made by Bufaco, it's a perfect extension to my Hex Mix, along with the little extension mixer. So now I actually have a Deca Mix instead of a Hex Mix because of this module and the other volume module. So it's actually really cool.
Now I'm going to risk...
LEDs would be nice, but
Sorry, I thought you'd finished. I am going to risk playing a Divkid video because this is his product. I should be under news and whatever that term is.
Fair use, basically.
I should be able
for sure.
I should be able to show it. So, and
has he ever complained when you try it?
No. Ben's good. It's just a pain. It's just a pain with his videos. So let's just have a look.
Stuff.
This is him demoing it. So you can see just there. I'll just stop it. He's got a 1U version, and he's also got the, the
standard 3U
version on the left. So see where the Mordax data is in the middle. You'll see the 1U version above it, and the 3U version just to the left of it. I'll just quickly sort of go across here.
They blink. I didn't notice that before.
This one's quite good. Watch this. So that just that just shows that it was clickless. Yeah,
totally clickless. It's quite nice.
So that just gives you an idea of some of the things you can do with these. It's not necessarily what you think. It's more about what you can do with the Eurorack modules, I think, is probably where he's going with it. I actually do like it. I think he's done a good job. Well done, Ben. Another collaboration between him and Befaco, or Befaco, if you want to say it that way. And price-wise, Chris, what did you say it was again? Just remind me.
114 euros, 114.95 euros.
114.95. I think it's £99. It's just to make it easy for you guys. Yeah.
And I assume that's the built version.
Yeah, you can get it as a
49 or
DIY
59.
kit as well, but you're only saving about $15, which is not much.
That's not much, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another disadvantage of going with the surface mount VCA design, is that it's all going to be pre-populated, which means you're not really building much of it yourself, and therefore you're not saving as much.
Yeah.
One of the little hidden penalties of the evolution of DIY, the way it's gone more towards SMT. Get off my high horse now.
Yeah. Well, you don't need to get off. It's fine. Just get off my lawn. No. All right. I mean, Daren, I'm not sure if you're using Eurorack in your live rig yet, but this could be something that would help you in that
my live rig. Yeah, no, it would be. Yes, this would be if I was introducing Eurorack. This would be because I remember that when the first one came out, I liked it then. Obviously, I wasn't playing live then, but for live work, having the mutes and everything, and like I say, we're having the LED now. So you can actually see in the dark, or if you're getting lights blinding in your face, at least you can see where your mute switches are, etc. It'd be great for live, and it's another decent product from Ben, and it's not mega expensive, like some can be. So indeed, it's great product.
So far, keeping everything under 500, like I promised. Let's go to the next one. This one I think I'm going to do. Oh, that's not the next one. Okay, I'll do this one anyway. I don't know why it skipped the previous one. Maybe it was because it was a weird... Yeah, it skipped the image.
SVG.
Maybe. Let me just fucking fix this quickly.
WebP.
No.
WebP.
AVIF.
Oh, God, even worse.
I don't even know that format. Well, I do, but I don't. Guys, just have a look at that beautiful picture while we are fixing our little technical problems here. Let's play some interlude music. We can just play some crickets. There we go. That will fix that problem.
You need some lift music or some, shop floor music.
Women's underwear.
Why do people use weird formats? That's my question.
AVI image file. I've never seen that.
We need a rant. We need a Rancee's rant. Why do people use
a modern image format for
quick
high
actions,
quality image
convert
compression?
image, convert to JPEG, stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Move that to the bin. Delete. Yes. You suck. You suck. You suck. You very, very much suck. Let's press refresh.
The same thing as the video formats changing too.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
HEVCs and all those.
Right.
Ooh. It's got Sid in the word
There it is, people.
title.
Yes, this is why I'm taking this one over, because I own Sid. No, I don't. This is the Morpheus. This is
Over to you.
MIDISID number 4. It is actually not a second suck of the sav. It's actually the 4th suck of the sav. But hey, let's do it anyway. 4th suck of the sav. Okay, so this one here is it's what can I say? It's a iteration of a product that she's been developing for a while. I think it's actually pretty cool. I actually do have the same thing that I did with the previous product and actually listed a table so you guys can have a look at what the differences are between the previous model and this one. So let's go and do that now. So the MIDISID 3 and the MIDISID 4 are pretty similar in a lot of respects. But the big area where this one is the operational mode, where this one has new duophonic mode. It has the USB host for MIDI over USB devices, so you can actually plug this thing in to any keyboard, USB keyboard, and it will just work. You don't need any computer or anything like that. whereas the previous one was just 5 pinned in. This one also has a physical stereo mono switch audio output. It's got an enclosed bread bin style sloped case, and the price is about the same as it was before. So it's gone from 170 US to 188. So it's about the same. It's not too bad. All right. So what do we got? What is the Morpheus, guys? It is actually basically a SID synthesizer. Now, when I say SID, it is okay. It's not a real SID chip in here. It's actually, they're using the 4SID or FAUX SID chips. They're like a digital clone of the SID chip. Because as you guys know, Commodore don't make the SID chip anymore, haven't since the 80s. And these chips are starting to fall off the planet because they're just so old. The electronics in them is degrading. I mean, I've got a few here. They still work, but the filter doesn't work on one, and all sorts of kind of weird stuff goes on with them over the while. So they've got 2 Kung Fu SID chips. They're, like I said before, they're modern creations. Why 2? Because it gives you 6 voice polyphony, which gives you 3 voices per chip, and as a result of that, you can get some cool sounds. And why don't we have a little look at the video? And to do that, I need to change screens. Bang, bang. So 9-minute video, we're not going to play the whole thing, of course, but let's have a little look at her intro.
I'd like to show you what I've secretly been working on for some time. Maybe not so secret, because I recently sold off my stock of MIDISID, and I made it clear that that was to make way for a major new version. This is it, MIDISID 4, codenamed Morpheus. If you've not seen this before, the SID is the sound chip that was used in the Commodore 64 8-bit home computer. It's a synthesizer on a chip with 3 voices, 4 waveforms, and an ADSR envelope per voice, pulse width for the square wave, a filter, and advanced features like ring modulation and waveform sync. It still has a cult following today.
25, more of an old school feel this month, starting off with Trident, Oceans of Time.
This has 2 of those, or modern recreations of, for a total of 6 voices with all of the features I just mentioned. It has MIDI in so that you can control it from a keyboard, DAW, or anything else that produces MIDI, such as playing in a MIDI file using a MIDI player. At a glance, this new version looks similar to the previous one, but there are some important changes in the hardware and firmware. The most obvious one from the front is the screen size. This allows for some menu improvements. No one likes menu diving, but if you can see more on the screen at once, it helps you to keep some context. It really comes into its own when creating sounds for the monophonic mode, which uses 3 voices per patch, and being able to see the envelope, waveform, etc. for all voices at the same time, and be able to play with them without navigating back and forth through the menu is really nice. Even if you don't want to get into the sound design, this better system has allowed me to create a bunch of new presets for mono and duo modes. Yes, there's a new mode.
All right, she goes into the modes and stuff like that. One of the other things I didn't mention too is that she does have presets now in this, so you can actually save presets, which is actually a pretty cool thing. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty much a synthesizer in a box. It is standalone. And all you got to do is plug your USB MIDI keyboard controller into it, and away you go. You've got SID sounds coming out to your heart's content. And I will admit, for those people who don't know much about the SID chip and its sounds, it can sound... A lot of people will associate it with very sort of digital sounding 8-bit chiptune sounds, right? But it can actually sound like a really nice synthesizer if you know how to use them, because they generate some beautiful waveforms, and those waveforms you can then pipe them through your normal effects and filters and things like that, and it actually sounds pretty good. Now, price-wise, you are looking at, as I said before, 188 US or 140 pounds if you're from the old Dart, and it's available now through purchase through the Peacock Media software website, which is her website. I think there's another couple of places you can get it from as well. Over to you guys for your comments and opinions about this MIDISID Morpheus.
Screen too small.
Well, I didn't know much about it actually, but I must say it's quite a nice little small compact. Park bench compatible. Okay, yeah, you're gonna have to take a little power bank or something. Yeah. But I was quite thinking, that even might just fit in my little case next to my Micro Monster, something like that. It's quite nice.
It's about that big.
So that's your Meeblet.
Yeah,
That's my Meeblet.
Small.
Yeah.
It's quite small.
Yeah.
So I quite like it. Like I say, I mean, some people might not be into the sort of SID type sound, but like you say, you can do quite a bit with it. And if you start sticking it through effects, then let's face it, you bang anything through reverb, as we always say, and you've got an ambient set there. What's going into it?
Yes.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, like SID Guts Deluxe that we have, Ranzee. It's very, very good. So that's a variety. So.
I didn't catch the first part of what you said there, Andy, because it was over the top of everyone else. So if you want to start that again for me.
Oh, sorry. I just said, like the SID Guts Deluxe module we have.
Yes.
There's a lot of variety in that chip. So people undersell it, but it's actually really cool. So.
Yeah. I mean, this is cheaper than a SID Guts Deluxe. This is kind of where I'm going to with it.
Oh, yeah.
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 But it is not Eurorack. This is for those people who don't like Eurorack.
Yeah.
Ian?
It's not that I don't like Eurorack. I will talk.
I'm trying to gaslight you, mate.
It's all right, mate. You can gaslight me as much as you want.
Consider him gaslit.
I have to say this isn't for me, but I've just looked at their website and they've got some other really interesting stuff that I am interested in. I'm really interested in their MIDI pan, which is like a tongue drum, and also their MIDI kalimba, which sounds a bit like what Korg have been doing. But this isn't for me, if I'm honest. But if that SID chip sounds what you're after, go for it. It's great. Price is okay. Small,
Indeed. By the way, for those people who love the old Commodore 64 tunes, you can actually get a SID tune converter to MIDI. And what that means is this, for example, you could get yourself this, convert them into MIDI files from the old Commodore 64 games, and then you can actually play them back through your DAW into this, and you will literally be listening to the same tunes that were playing from your Commodore 64 games. And the benefit of this too is that you can then manipulate this because you've got two SID chips on it, so you'll be able to sort of change it a bit, make it a little bit more fun, a bit fatter, and not so much voice stealing things that were going on back in the day because they only had three voices. But yeah. Yes. Anyway, chatties are cute, like killing each other in chat. So do that quietly, please, everyone. I actually don't know what they're talking about. I just thought I'd bring them up. Yeah. Well,
here we go.
I've had no problems at all converting SID tracks to MIDI. So, yeah.
Probably depends on the track.
But yeah, I actually did a video many years ago where I did the Commando game on a Roland A01 synthesizer, which is a mono. It's not a SID chip, and I just wanted to see what you could do to try and get a Commodore 64 sound through a different synth that was, technically a 8-bit sort of sounding synth. And it was an interesting little project. And I used the SID to MIDI converter back in the day to do that, and it was actually quite easy. Very good. Right, so
I never had access to a C64. I always used mod files all the time with the packaged samples in them.
Trackers.
Yeah, trackers is kind of a different thing. Yeah, indeed. So what was next was the the thing that came up before, which should have come up with Koma. Koma make the Koma Electronic, that is, make the Monoplex sequencer. This is definitely a render. So for those who have picked out, this is a render. It is definitely a render. Oh, yeah. I couldn't find a photo of this that I liked, but what I do have is Perfect Circuit have got one sitting in their shop there. The problem is it's a... Why don't we go full screen? It's there anyway, okay? So you guys can see it there. So it does exist in the wild. There it is there. What I might do is, before I press play on this, is just go back to us and just talk about this as that. So what is it? It's a 16-step analog MIDI sequencer. It's quite complex, and it's also quite simple at the same time. So I feel like for those people who are after a fairly sort of easy to use but can go deep sequencer, this might be one for them.
Very Metropolis-y.
Very Metropolis-y. I'm going to jump straight to the price. It is $498. It just squeezes under our $500 price tag. So there you go.
It fine there.
I mean, if you convert it to Australian dollars, it completely... I mean, it's $6 million in Australia. So it's probably over the budget there. But anyway. So what has it got? It's got a whole bunch of CV stuff, which is good for eurorack. It's got per step repeat, sequence start points, gate lengths, sequence lengths, glide, skip steps, transpose, and even a clock input and division mode in it as well. You've got multiple outputs you guys can see there. You've got the CV gate and trigger outputs. You've also got the start and end triggers, which is pretty cool, and dedicated clock output as well. It's helpful to clock other things from this. Yeah. There's MIDI implementation in this with I/O for seamless connectivity. Also, you've got some quantizing options, which you can see there, where you can scale between major, minors, and chromatic scales, and you can adjust the CV output ranges from 2 volts, 5 volts, and 10 volts. There's a little range switch there you guys can see on the right in the middle. 42 HP, bit of a rack hog. Doesn't tell me a little bit any more about how much current and things like that it draws, but what I would say is for just under $500, it's not bad. It probably is direct competition to the IntelliGel. It's a very similar size. IntelliGel,
I was going to say the Metropolis.
Slightly smaller, I think, the Metropolis in width.
Yeah. That's what I mean, yeah.
Anyway, let's have a little squiz at the vid. We'll go full screen on the vid, and we'll take you off because you're hogging. There we go. I don't know why it's coming out the left speaker, but it is. This is a perfect circuit, Andy.
My home away from home. This is awesome.
All right, you guys get the idea. I don't think it's really killing us to turn that off for now because it was just repetitive.
By the way, that's everyone's nightmare about Eurorack, right? That kind of sequence.
Repetitive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It absolutely is.
Noisy, repetitive, wacky. Yeah.
He didn't actually jump onto the sequencer at all in that, so it's probably not the best demo video.
It was just like...
It was just
like,
playing
oh, yep, we switched it on and it worked. I'll do a video.
Yeah. Down the bottom, you've got...
By the way, anyone's not sure about Koma build quality, I have the whole field kit and the Koma Commander modular D-beam thingy, and their stuff's great. So.
Yeah, they are good, yeah. There's a whole bunch of stuff down the bottom which you can see, little buttons you can press, and you can get into doing some funky things with it. It does have some cool things that way. Look, for me, I'm gonna be honest, guys. Koma, great idea, great sequencer. I still feel the IntelliGel Metropolis does it for me.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So
yeah, I know what you mean.
But it's what, $200-300 more?
Yeah, I know, but
is it?
yeah. But
That's a good point.
don't forget too, it's a 3-channel sequencer.
Yeah, that is the thing.
But I tell you, I'll be honest. For me, where this kind of falls down a little bit is I just feel the user interface design on this is kind of not quite leading me into playability. It's more just set up and use. I feel like some of the other sequences out there are definitely. I mean, even the Behringer one is more playable. I felt the RS9 or whatever it's called, R9, RS9.
Is the rep the ratchet function? Is that like repeat or something, or what is that?
You'd have to go into the manual. I don't have all the information in front of me, but there is a manual online on the Koma Electronics
then that's something
website.
it's missing.
Yeah.
The RS9 is the drum sequencer, Rants.
Yeah, that
I have.
little eurorack module.
That's exactly the same size, 42 HP.
Yeah, but I feel like it's more playable.
It, but
I feel like it's more playable than
RS9?
this.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But this is, a pitch sequencer, or
Yeah.
CV sequencer, whereas
As
the
opposed to a
RS9 is
trigger sequencer, yeah.
a gate sequencer, yeah.
Yeah.
Trigger gate.
Yeah.
So they're different,
Different thing.
apples and oranges.
Good point. But playability
But
was
the
where I was going
182s,
with the point.
Put two 182s next to it, side by side.
Yeah. Well, you can get a secondhand Metropolis without the X. You could pick up for a couple of $100. And I feel like, anyway, not trying to rubbish Koma, because I think they've done a good job. But what I'm saying is that if you're going to release a product in the wild, and it's got a hell of a lot of competition in it. Like, I mean, I'm looking right here at the Varigate from Milako, and I have had that module since when Noel was playing halfback for Jerusalem, a long time. In other words, it's been around for a long time. It's very easy to use as well. So there's got to be reasons why you want to bring something up. I've said this before to other people. What is this introducing in the sequencer realm that's not already out there, other than you just having a product that fits within your product range and hoping that everyone just buys your products and stays within your little
filling
brand.
out your ecosystem.
Yeah. So
possibly.
Let us know. We're not rubbishing you guys. Please don't take it that way. Don't take offense. I know some people take offense to what I say. It's supposed to be constructive. It's not supposed to be a slap. Just let us know a little bit more about it. The information that's on the websites and things like that does need to probably have a little bit more, a more of a why. Why? What are we doing here?
Rather than what.
Rather than what. I mean, we can see what, but why?
Yes.
What are we doing here that's new? What are we groundbreaking? What are we introducing to Eurorack? I mean, I think we're kind of getting to the point, guys, where innovating on sequences in Eurorack is not this particular way. I feel like it's the other stuff that we've seen in the more recent things with, like, what Make Noise were doing, with some of that sort of weird digital randomization of CV controls, even back in the day with mutable instruments, some of the weird CV stuff like Marbles were doing, and that's more sort of modernizing what a sequencer does today.
Well, they're kind of just going back to Buchla, really, right? A lot of those guys.
Some of them are, yeah. Some of them are. Yeah. But if you can do it in a musical way, because sometimes with the Buchla stuff, it was very engineering, right? And
he's way ahead of his time, and not people couldn't appreciate it and know how to use it, really. But
well, that's the problem, because you not a lot of musicians are engineers at the same time. You might have good engineers out there that aren't very musical, and you might have good musicians that aren't very good engineers, but not many are both. And a
lot of musicians can't think out of 4/4 either. So,
I mean,
it's true.
I don't really mind personally that let those arguments pan out. But where I'm going with it is, I feel like if you're going to make a module that is playable as a sequence to drive your gear, let's make something that gives sort of innovation in sequences. add something new.
Well, you'll see probably a rev of this. This is probably, you know, that's the first pass. They'll probably do another one that's much better.
Yeah.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah. Cool. All right. That's it, I think. Yep, it is. That's it for the news. One thing I'm going to say, we've finished the news, guys. I am going to remove those 3 Zoom connections down the bottom, and this is not anything from these guys who are on the screen right now. But nobody ever joins on Zoom, so I'm going to take it off, and you guys.
Well, some creeps try to join.
Time.
But,
yep, I'll
know.
just go back to having. I'll go back to having the 5 of us or 6 of us on here, and I won't invite people in anymore because I just feel like it's just wasting screen space. So you guys have had your chance, you didn't use it, and it's gone now. Yep. Right, we are going to move on to the next segment, and that is my segment.
Hey,
how are you? Actually,
is it a rant?
Not really. No, this is just this.
Good to see you, man.
All we're going to do is this. We're going to show you the second clue for the synth quiz. And that is X-fade. Yep. Your X faded. That's what happened. Say goodbye to your X.
Dash is important.
Yeah, X-fade. Yes,
some people would like that.
Yeah. If you do want to post your answer to the quiz, it's just my name, highlight my name so I can see it. Otherwise, it just scrolls on by and it gets lost in the wall of text of chat. Put synth quiz and then your guess. You can do that at any stage during the show. Throw your synth at the screen if you think I've missed it. But you guys should be able to guess it this week. I don't know what's going on with you guys. It's been 2 weeks in a row.
You say that every week, Ranzee, but some of us are not that good.
I mean, I literally had several of these in my possession and I didnn't know them. So what do you want? Right?
Probing our depths of our synth knowledge, and we're being found wanting.
Indeed. Yep. Right. Well, we are going to do this. Indeed, longest stinger in the world, that one. Waiting for that to disappear off the screen. Here we are, yay! Now, it isn't always a scam, as I said before. We've changed it now. It just says crazy used gear deals and some scams. And, I mean, if there is a scam, I will let you guys know there's a scam. This one definitely isn't a scam. This one is the Analog Solutions Ample. And one of the things I wanted to find out about this, if someone would quickly want to do a search for me, how much is an Ample brand new right now? That's a good question. While you're looking, seeing out when you got it. All right, this one is only $2,049 US, and it's used. According to this, is on eBay right now. There is a stack of photos of this. So let's press the right button.
2,280
pounds or US?
Pounds.
Right. So this is cheaper than a brand new one. So if you guys want to get an Ample, this might be a pretty good opportunity for you to get one. It's on eBay right now. All the links to the used gear stuff will be in the blog article, which airs at 6 p.m. UTC time today. So this is what it's coming.
So how much was this one? How much was this one, Ranzee?
Just over 2,000 US, 2,049.
I'd buy the new because you're going to get a year's guarantee with it.
Yeah, but this will probably still have one. I mean, they're not that old. These things only came out.
No. 2 years? Something like that. Not that long.
I think Analog Solutions make some pretty good gear. I wouldn't have a problem.
These guys, yeah, well built. I mean, like, I bought like other stuff that used that.
Correction.
Questionable, but
yeah.
Yeah, correction. I've just gone onto their own website. Ample is now £1,599. They've got a sale on.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
Is that plus VAT? It doesn't say it's plus VAT.
Oh, plus VAT. According to Steve.
It's plus VAT, is it?
According to Mr. Elbows, it's plus VAT.
I'm just about to check out.
Anyway.
Yeah, VAT. So 1,009, including shipping, obviously only to the UK, which is only £4.99. £1,924.
This one's probably cheaper for people that live in the US, though.
States. Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I agree.
Because I don't know if there's any more tariffs. I think that was thrown out now, wasn't it, tariffs? But I don't know if it affects everyone, the new tariff rules. But the
tariff thing is still 10% for everybody, but the court at the law courts questioning Trump's ability to do that now.
It's back on again.
So,
tariffs are also up and down. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
I actually think the Australians got out of it somehow. And then I think some other countries did as well, but because it got thrown out of court because it was classified as
he's doing it all by executive order, and he's not allowed to do that.
Trump's afraid you're going to throw your toxic critters at him, so all those dangerous Australian critters.
I have to say, it's a great price for a great synth.
Well, if it's more expensive to get it in the UK or less in the, you guys will work it out. You guys know what you're doing. But these don't show up very often. That's kind of what I'm saying. The next thing I've got, this was kind of weird, this one. Someone may want to tell me a little bit about this. This is a voice ROM. I'm not even going to even pretend to pronounce this.
Ryuichi
Sakamoto, right?
Ryuichi Sakamoto.
But this is a get test. I don't know how you say that. It's a Yamaha DX7 cartridge voice ROM. Get this 163 euros for this. I don't think I've ever seen this, and I know there's some people in chat that may know a little bit about this, but it is on eBay.
Robbie or
I don't know if he's here.
Dr. Synth would know.
Yeah,
Dr. Synth,
Seen him in the chat.
I'm sure they're online somewhere since everything else is online. So,
1986 for those playing along at home.
Gosh.
Yeah. So when you plug it in, it says it's a cartridge voice. But what's in there?
Yeah.
Is it just a whole bunch of patches? That's kind of what.
Well, I had a DX7 II which had plug-in and it was just a lot of patches.
Yeah.
With the cartridge, yeah. But I had the sort of stock ones.
Yeah. I mean, someone who collects cartridges may find that one kind of cool.
I think the price is probably all right for what if it's quite rare.
Yep. Now this one, Andy, this one is your baby. So I screenshotted. I don't know if I screenshotted when it was in Aussie dollars.
We had the links at least. So yeah.
Well, I screenshot it. No, I actually had to go and Google it and find it. So because all I got was just the image from you, but that's all right. Oh. So I'm just letting you know this is Aussie dollars, 22,000 Aussie dollars, but it is 14,239 US dollars. If you're wondering what this translates to, 14,000 US turns into 22,000 Australian. Like I said, $1 US, a couple of million Australian dollars. Yep, you got it. Moog Voyager 16-channel model MBVO327. If you guys don't know what that is, Andy, tell us a little bit about this. Is it just kind of crazy price?
First of all, I like the fact it was from a German seller, so he put the fact that it's a black module, Schwarz, right, in the title. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, Schwarz.
But because everyone knows Schwarzenegger means black plowman, according to Arnold. So
yeah.
These always sounded great. It's based on Boda's design, essentially.
Oh, yeah. It's
not a Moog original. And they sound great, but they're always damn expensive. So that's why nobody has them. So even this one,
So who made these famous?
Cheap,
name Giorgio Moroder. Who made these famous?
Wendy Carlos, right? All over. All over Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
And other stuff.
Did someone sneeze on the program knob? And it's just dribbled down.
Oh God! Yeah. Oh,
what the hell was that?
That's horrible.
That's horrible. Should we get the forensic people out and have a look at that, or what?
Yes, there's somebody's DNA there for sure.
Yeah, don't shine a UV light on it, whatever you do.
What the hell?
Yeah. Don't put luminol on there.
I know you love your synths. Please.
No.
Stay away from the sockets, boys.
But no, these always sounded really good, and you know, they have their newer stuff now with the vocoder built into it. What is that module? With the vocal section. You have that, Chris, right?
I got the what's it called? The
And I forgot.
This and all the other memory blanks. Enjoy it.
Spectravox. There you go.
All right.
So it's Spectravox is cool, but it's not this. This is so much warmer you know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's 16 band, and Spectravox is only 8 as well. Fundamental reduction there.
If you guys like Moogs, how about this one? This one's the Polymoog, but not only is it the Polymoog, it's the Polymoog with the poly pedal, as you can see on top there, and it has legs. ZZ Top, anyone? And it also has a manual.
Knows how to use it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's have a look at the reverb listing of this little sucker. There's a few photos in here to go through, so it's only $3,399. I thought that was actually a pretty good price.
Well, it is.
It's Kent's favorite.
Polymoog, isn't it?
He loves working on
Kent
this.
doesn't like them, does he? Because I
No, he doesn't.
I have to say I was never a fan. I remember going to hear it demonstrated, and it was pretty ropey.
Yeah,
I think the module he said is better. There's a Polymoog module, and there's a keyboard.
right.
I forgot the difference, but
Yeah.
well,
The keyboard, if I remember rightly, the keyboard was horrible on this.
Ian,
Yeah.
if you get this and you have this pedal, if you put your right foot on the right pedal, it'll be nice and swell. Right, we should keep going.
Hey.
Only works in America. The swirl pedal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
No,
Well, if you're
it
in the
works in
50s,
Wales.
maybe.
It works in Wales as well.
It's a time.
Get it? It works in Wales as well. Anyway,
this has those funny knob caps that they had on the Rogue.
yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Daren, knob caps. Anyone?
They're not purple.
Yes, exactly, and they're not big.
God,
That pitch control,
is a
yeah.
touch control, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Touch
Yeah.
Stick your tongue on that.
35 volts.
Go on, you've got to
Will
mount.
not be-
People can't see
it'll
this.
end badly. Yeah, actually, it probably has a fair bit of acid trips on there.
Indeed.
Oh, look, his potentiometer's showing.
Yeah, it is.
Showing his lots of potentials. There we go. I mean, it just
There's that
reminds
big
me.
wooden trim too that's on the Multimoog.
Just reminds me of the interior of a 1970s V8 sports car. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the go fast strip down the
Yep.
middle.
The leather, the black leather.
I mean, is it worth it? That's the question.
Tirana. No one will know what that is,
put a
Chris.
Bloody great big hole in a Tirana.
Nobody will know what that is. I love Australian jokes. Basically, everyone else is going like this, Chris. Right. Indeed.
What?
What about this?
What?
John Bowen Solaris. Get yourself a John Bowen Solaris for $5,000 US dollars or 7,700 Australian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colour's missing the U.
I almost got one, but it was no cheaper than $3,000. I said,
Hey, if you
no
like,
way.
if you like joysticks, this has got one. Now this is actually a pretty cool reverb listing. This guy's gone to a bit of detail, which I know you love, Andy. You love when people do walls and walls of text.
Right? It's cool, right?
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
a little story in there.
But it's actually what they write. So it's actually, yes, it's a monster. It's digital. But when you hear, it's actually written, either he's used ChatGPT, but he's probably written it. I let this bit down the bottom. So you could say the Solaris is what a 21st century synth classic ought to be. And ultimately, that's why I wanted it. But I'm afraid, as good as it is, it's more synth than I ever needed. Like, it's literally talking to us. It's actually pretty cool. But then again, yeah. This guy's in Melbourne, Australia, by the way.
Cool.
For those who are interested in that. So yes, there might be a bit of postage issue with that one. Now, the last one, drum roll, is from Babs Thanks, Babs, for sending this one. This is a doozy, this
good,
one.
you got
James
this one.
waving, by the way,
I was
guys.
hoping you got this one.
Babs is awesome.
Yeah, just
Okay.
Who would spend 10 grand on a Yamaha Reface CP? Well, you can. It's on eBay right now. Get your credit cards out because Babs has found one for you. You should actually give her a finder's fee. That's what you should do. $10,000 finder's fee. Should take that if you're going to spend it on your Reface CP, that is. Yeah.
Well, Hans Zimmer sneezed on this one, so it's very valuable. So.
I mean, even look at the knobs. They're even not even in perfect order. That makes it more vintage, guys. It sounds more vintage, even though it's a digital synth.
Well, it's got toggle switches. So
yeah, she said this to me as well. This is funny. This is a classic.
Yeah. Look at that, hey? This is just a thing of amazement. And the photos are so good. I'm like right now, I'm actually jealous because my Reverb listings aren't, and the eBay listings aren't as good as that.
You need that.
And I bet for that price, you don't even get the MIDI splitter cable with it.
Yeah. Now, the actual listing itself doesn't have anything written in there. So it's basically just a couple of bad looking photos. And hey, if you're going to spend 10 grand, this could be a scam, guys. I think Babs has done well. We did say we'd tell you if there was a scam. I'm actually saying this might be a scam. Yeah. What do you reckon, Chris?
Nah,
You also know it's a scam because it doesn't have the green check
Wasn't
mark.
that £200? Yeah.
Guys, is he dreaming? Should we do it?
Telling me.
yeah.
Yeah, we
Go
go.
for it. Yeah, it's a scam.
It's a scam.
Yeah.
He can afford to light his rent.
It's a fishing
Well, he hasn't got the
exercise.
10 grand yet, Steve. He hasn't got the 10 grand yet. Yeah.
You should have a new one that says "suck on this salve."
Yeah. Nothing like
This
a good
sucks,
Savoy
yeah.
to suck on, eh? Good on you, Babs. Well done. Right. That is it. We are going to go into How's Your Week Been? But before we do, I thought maybe we might let's do it. Let's bugger it. Let's get the third clue out for the synth quiz because we can. And the third clue, it's going to appear just down there, just below my finger. You ready? I'm just going to go. There you go. A-hole.
Wow.
Okay.
I enjoyed
No
that
dash,
one.
though.
I enjoyed that one way too much.
You're just being clean for YouTube by saying a-hole. So
Yeah,
We've had a couple of guesses on the synth quiz so far, or a couple, or just one. One, but that's okay. You guys, geez, look at them. Here they come. Holy snapping duck doo-doos. Wagoo's got his in, and Chris has got his in. Anyway, what we'll do is we're going to do How's Your Week Been? And then we'll do Saturday Sonority. And in Saturday Sonority, we are going to do the topic of the week, which is we're going to talk about oscilloscopes, which is actually something that I forget who asked us to do it in Discord. Chris will remind us in a minute. But anyway, let's do How's Your Week Been? And we'll start off. Chris, do you want to go first this week?
Sure.
Cool. How's your week been, Chris?
I'm sorry, I'm not ready.
Oh, you're not?
No, I'm just kidding. No, just of course I'm ready.
All right.
Yeah, hey. Hello, everyone. Yes, another week's gone by, and we're back here again talking about synths, which is always a good way to end the week. Yeah, so my week's been pretty much standard working on the biz. I've been writing software, and I've been ordering parts because I found that I didn't order parts when I thought I had, and then fortunately realised that would have been awkward while I was building them if I didn't have the parts. But I do now, so that'll be on its way to me soon. So it always takes an extraordinarily long time to order parts, people. If you're ever going to start a electronics business, put aside a day to do something that you think is going to take 10 minutes. There's my little
absolutely
advice. I've done something to the store, the listing for the passives. I added the little cover I made, put that in the thing, and on good advice from Ian, I've now got pack discounts, so you can buy them in 1 pack, 2 pack, or 4 pack, and you get a reduced price if you buy, 2 packs and a bit more reduced if you buy 4 packs. So that's on my Etsy store. I probably should have had that lined up before I did it, but I don't want to toot my own horn too much, because there's bigger stuff coming around the corner. So yeah, apart from that, I've been doing music. Yay. So I did some music last night, and I was doing some music today. So that's good when we crack out the music. Sometimes it's admin type stuff, like, I've got exported so many WAV files or recorded so many WAV files from certain gear, and now I need to arrange them into a timeline, start doing some basic mixing, and then start getting back into the creative side of things. So sometimes it's, good fun creative stuff where you're actually writing stuff, and sometimes it's just, I just enjoy the sort of admin side of it sometimes. Maybe I'm weird like that, but yeah, always have. Yeah, so apart from that, that's pretty much all I've done. I don't think I haven't blown anything up, plugged anything new. It's overall, it's probably a pretty successful week then.
Awesome. Let's have a quick look at your merch.
Okay.
So this is the one you're talking about, where you can actually pick.
Yeah. So you can now, so you can select different options.
Beautiful.
Which, again, if you think you're going to start an online store and you think something's going to take 10 minutes, put aside a day.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought would happen.
Yeah,
with the
you do
merch
know.
store.
Yes, I know exactly. I thought Ranzee knows what I'm going through right now.
Beautiful. We'll head backwards today because we can. We're going to go to this button here, which makes it Ian. How's your week been, matey?
Yes. So, how's my week been? So, what I've been doing, I've been spending more time with the Yamaha Seek Track, trying to get back into that. Having to relearn what I learned a few weeks ago. Been playing more guitar, because I want to write some songs on guitar soon, and I haven't played much guitar in the last year. So, I've been working on, there's an audiophile radio show coming out tomorrow, and that's been handed over to one of the stages for the EMOM Festival, which was 2 weekends ago that I was at. And I've chopped down 8 hours of music into 2 hours, 20 minutes. So there's a bit from every act that played on that stage. And I'm going to do the same probably in the July show when we'll use the other stage. Did a podcast yesterday, which will be out on Monday, or half of it will be out on Monday, with Jason. We were talking about the AI thing and with music and copyright and stuff like that. And, thank you for those people that commented on the first podcast that went out last week. We're going to try and do them every week. So there'll be some weeks where we can't do them, but, and we tried to make them half an hour, but both of them have been an hour. So what we're doing with the one this forthcoming week is Monday will be the first half hour, and then Wednesday will be the second half hour, because we don't seem to be able to get them down to a little below half an hour. We've got too much to say.
I have that problem.
So as Bert says, he watched it. Thank you very much, Bert. It was pretty good. That's all right. I'll take that. Pretty good is better than rubbish.
It's good.
Yeah, pretty good any day of the week.
Absolutely. And I've just set up, because I'm going to be playing the Bristol EMOM next month, 17th. So this is probably going to be my setup. Yay!
3 hours 6.
I'm going to start working on that over the weekend. But pretty good week really.
I don't know, in that first cheer, or was it more this cheer? It depends on what type of podcast you're doing, mate.
Well, there's no swearing, but I don't think children are going to be interested.
And no Jimmy Saville. Right.
No. There's a few crap jokes, but we won't say more.
Hey, Andy, how's your week been?
Hey. So as you can see, I've had to move to the bedroom since the company decided to take over the Black Lodge down the hall there. So anyway, not much. Getting ready for Living Dead weekend, big time. Lots of work, lots of scrambling. No time for music. Didn't even do hardware jams the last week, and might do one this weekend, but I doubt it. We'll see. So all I can say is stay tuned for next week with all the live streams, etc., etc. So.
Okay. We'll get to you in a sec, Keith. You've just joined us on Zoom, so just give us 1 second, matey, and we're just going to go to Daren. Daren, how's your week been?
I'm probably going to go a bit like Andy. Not done much this week, just work and just general stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty nothing really to report on my week. It's just been a meh week. Getting little bits done, but nothing of interest. Let's put it that way. So yeah, that's all I've got to report.
Fantastic, awesome. Now we have got. We're going to go to this view. We've got a guest who's joined us. It's Keith on Zoom. Just give me a sec, Keith. I'm just going to add you to the bottom corner there. Give me a second. Where are we? There. Hey, there's Keith. And audio is now on. Do you want to give us a test for your audio? It's on my side. Definitely on. Definitely on. We're not hearing you, bud. Keep trying, though. Change it in the settings if you can. But, yeah, we'll leave you there for a sec. Just while we've got you, we should probably just finish off the quiz. So we'll roll the stinger. Or a-hole, if you want to sing that last. Anyway. We have an answer for the synth quiz, people, and that is almost correctly guessed by one of the people in the chat. And it is the Roland MKS70. Let me tell you, it was the most spelling mistakes it probably goes a record. The most spelling mistakes I have seen in a manual ever. For example, crossfade is spelt CORSS fade. There is the word translucent, which they don't even know how to spell translucent. I don't even know what word they tried with translucent. Anyway, it's full of spelling mistakes. But we did have the guesses, the clues, I guess. I want to sort of go with those for the start. So the first one was T-Voice. T-Voice is actually part of the 6 key modes that you get with an MKS70. So you got the touch, voice, select, or T-Voice. Enter this mode, tone A or tone B will sound depending on how you play the keyboard. So that's what T-Voice is. Okay, that's that one. The second one is the crossfade, or coarse fade, if you go by the spelling in the manual. Yeah. It's kind of a dual, as shown. They show like a cross between the tone A and tone B in the picture. It's sort of like, it's like a dual thing. And it sort of decreases. So tone A decreases by the stronger touch and the volume of tone B decreases by a weaker touch, if that makes sense. So it kind of works like that. I don't know if you've ever played with Roland stuff, but these stuffs have been around for ages. The last one, which was my favorite one, which was A-hole. There's actually an A-hole and a B-hole.
Hole mode. Yeah.
It's basically a hole mode.
Wait, isn't that the same thing? No.
Yeah.
Layer A or layer B, basically.
So that's what that is. A great one. So I had fun doing the synth quiz this week.
I did with Roland D.
Now, technically, according to Wagoo, he's saying that it's in the JX10 as well.
Yeah.
It's got the same clues. Yeah, but I didn't choose the JX10. I chose the MKS70. So bad luck for you.
You got to protest again, yeah.
That's called, that's New York Times crossword rules, by the way.
Wagoo needs to do this. Yep, rage quit for Wagoo. Have a rage quit.
No, just do tell him he's dreaming, right?
Keith, how'd you go with your audio, mate? No. Go out and come back in. Try that. Give that a rock and roll. See how that works. Your audio is definitely on this end. There's a little green button that says audio and it's highlighted. Yep. Definitely on. Do you want me to try? I'll add you to a different input and see if that works. I'll add you to a new input. and then I'll turn your audio on. Does that work? Try it. No, it's definitely your end, buddy. So, yeah. Well, I actually didn't know you could actually multiply people. Yeah. Jump out and jump back in again, mate. See if that works. We'll just go back to... we're going to roll the stinger anyway. So while you're checking your audio out, Keith, we'll roll the stinger. 4. Saturday sonority! Turn on the signal. Segment is on, people. We're going to do our segment. Yes, last couple of weeks we haven't had a chance to do our segments. This week, the segment is we talked this. Oscilloscopes, right? Oscilloscopes. And the question that we got asked is, can we discuss some different options for using oscilloscopes? And there's actually quite a lot. There's a hell of a lot, actually. There is... well, I'm sure we'll go through it, but you can use your DAW for a start. That would be one that I would definitely recommend. And I'll show you a couple of ones in Ableton Live, which I use. Yeah. So we'll get into those. Just because Keith has actually left, we'll just go to here for now anyway. Okay, so first up, cab off the rank, I've got one prepared for you guys to have a look at, and it's my Siglant. You guys have seen this in many of my videos I've used before. That is live over here, the old trusty Siglant. I've moved it over from the soldering desk. I've just moved it over here for you guys. One of the things I've done with this is I've actually made an adapter to the connection here so that I can actually plug a eurorack cable straight into it. And you can see I've got 2 waveforms going through at the moment. I've got a sine wave coming through from the slow sines module, and I can move the camera and you can actually have a look at that while we're doing that. Wait. Where's my PTZ? So if I go up and then left and then up, there's the slow sines there. So that's the sine wave coming out of that. And then just up above it, if I go up a little bit more, is the LFO module from 2HP, and that's got some sort of steppy type triangle waveform going in it. So that's what you can see in the second one. So let's just go back to our me thingy. Whee, there it is. So one of the things you can do with these babies is a whole bunch of stuff you can do with these babies. Like, for example, you can zoom in on waveforms. You can zoom right in on them like that. You can see it zooming in. This one's a pretty slow scope, by the way, so you can see it refreshing is not the best refreshing. So that's that first one. The second one would be the triangle one. You can zoom right in on it. Now, if I want to speed this up, obviously I can change the vertical rate, horizontal rate, sorry. And then you guys can see that a little bit better. Now let's change the horizontal rate on that again. And then let's zoom in. There we go. Let's just bring that back one more time. Whoops. So you can see the steps now on that waveform, nice and clear. Now obviously I can slow and speed up waveforms in here. So you see that sine wave now getting faster. It's as fast as it will go. So this is a very slow sine wave. And with the LFO, I can make the rate of that go slower. Really slow now. Or I can speed it right up. Whee! So this is what oscilloscopes do, if you haven't worked it out. Keith, you're back in. Is your audio working, Keithy? No. What's going on? He's there. You could do sign language. Hold up some notes.
Like it was good enough.
We semaphore with the flags.
Where was that from? I heard some. I did hear something then.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounded like a child's voice.
Wasn't me.
Yeah, I wonder if that's from Keith's house. He's got someone else using his mic or something on Bluetooth. We just heard something. Anyway, so that's the Xcelon. I mean, obviously, I'll go into one more area of this, and that is that it comes with a USB connection, and you can actually bring all of the images on your scope. You can record them as movies. You can record them as images. So just for example, if I want to save that one that I just did, I'm just going to save it, and I'm going to call it Scopey. Right, not the one that I just did just then, but this is one I saved earlier, just so you guys can see it. And I'll just bring that in as a JPEG or PNG into here, and you can actually do screenshots, screen captures, and this is what it looks like. So you get nice quality screen captures from the screen of the scope as well. So you can pause what you're doing, have a look at those little sort of things down the bottom where you've got VPP and Vmax and Vmin. All that means is voltage max, voltage min. It tells you the rise in milliseconds to fall. So you can actually kind of work out your waveforms and how they're actually behaving. It tells you with the channel 1, which is the yellow channel, you can see that it's on 10 volts, and channel 2, it's on 2 volts. So you can change, obviously, if you're measuring stuff, to do with your waveforms, you can change that. So that's the benefit of those bigger scopes. And obviously with the bigger scopes, there's a lot of functionality on them too, that when you start getting into electronics, you can use a lot of this functionality, the measurings. It can do things like on auto mode, if you're trying to, it detects what it thinks it should be set at, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff. It's pretty deep. Now, for musicians, this is way over the top. You guys don't need this, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. It's crazy over the top stuff. So if you're into Eurorack, you may have seen that I've used the Mordax data quite a few times over the years. And there she is over there. At the moment, the Mordax data has got 4 waveforms plugged into it. And I think I've got a different camera angle if that one's a little bit hard to see. Where's my other camera angle? Did it go offline? Seriously? Did that camera go offline? No. That's weird. No, it's not. There it is. There's the other camera angle. So you can see wobbling away are the 4 different waveforms coming out of the Behringer 2600 module, which is just to the left, actually. Just to the left. Whoops, not that one. What are you doing? Go back. Go back, you sod. There we go. All right, just to the left, you'll see it there. There she is. All right. So that's the Behringer 2600 VCO, and you can see the 4 waveforms coming out. You've got a square, sine, a triangle, and a sawtooth, if I remember rightly. And hit there. You're going to move for me or not? There you go. So you can see those waveforms are there. Now, once you're in the Mordax data, one of the things that you'll notice about it is it's got the 4 connections below those 4 cables, and they will send those waveforms straight back out, so you can use them for whatever duties they're supposed to be used. So in a way, it's like a passive way of monitoring, and it's actually really, really good. There's a few other things this can do, but if you're in Eurorack, I do really, really recommend that you have some sort of physical oscilloscope in your modular setup, and Mordax data is probably the go-to, to be honest. Because of the sheer fact that it's just so well put together. Now, there's some obviously we can show you things that these hardware devices can do, right? We can show you that, but I kind of feel like that's not really what the questions that we got asked this week. It's kind of like, what should I use? What's a good idea? So, for example, I said before that we should look at maybe a
software
one.
VST.
Yeah. So in Ableton, there's actually an oscilloscope built into it, and a spectrum analyzer and all sorts of stuff. So, Chris, what I might do while I get that set up, because I actually didn't plan to set that up before, you've got your oscilloscope stuff.
I do indeed.
Ready, so I'm going to go across to you. Keith, are you still struggling with your audio, mate? Yeah, I think you are. Sorry, buddy. Over to Chris.
What I'm using.
Here we go.
I'll just, because I'm going to go and walk over there to the scope, which is, let's see, it's there. I'll just switch to lapel mic. If I can work out where my lapel mic is. How's that? Scrunchy. Apologies. Okay, so yeah, so this one's a bit overkill for. Oops, I'm probably way too loud. Sorry about that, guys.
This ASMR part of the stream here.
Yeah, so this is not a great camera angle, obviously, because it's too far away. But one of the cool things about this scope is that it does have a HDMI output, so I'll switch to that so that you guys can see what I can see. Even better than that. Nope. How about that one? Third time's the charm. Just put me there. And me. Oh, come on, Chris. You know how to click something. There you go. Yes. So it's weird. Somebody's buzzing.
Sorry, that's my fault.
So this scope is it's got 4 inputs, which is a bit overkill if you're just doing basic synth stuff. It is handy, as Rant showed, with the Mordex data. But if you want a professional scope, then I would probably advise not to get a 4-channel, just to get a 2-channel. Because 9 times out of 10, you only ever need 2 channels, especially for diagnostic stuff. But this one in particular has some fanciness in that it's got this one's actually Android based. By the way, this is a Rigel D.H 804. In fact, I think it says it on the screen somewhere. But like Ranzee's one, you can store and save your settings, store and save images. You can also store a video if you want. But yeah, it's very much like all oscilloscopes are very similar. So, you know, we all get to see the same kind of things. Oh, there you go. Got something on the right hand side. One of the cool things about this scope, and Rancee's probably got it on his as well, is that it does have a fast Fourier transform. So if I mute that one, it'll bring up the whole thing. Yeah, okay, cool. So that's showing me a waveform and the frequency response there. Now this one's a bit strange in that you'd think you'd to get better resolution you'd want to turn up speed, but it's actually the other way around. Work that out, people. Well, if I can work out how to get the position. Oh, let's just use the screen. The other thing about this scope is that you can't see me doing it, but I'm actually touching the screen to do this. So yeah, if you want to get down to what your noise is doing or what your frequency response is, these things can do fast Fourier transforms, which could be very handy. Again, this is something that's very easy to do in software as well. The only difference here is that because this is electronic, it's going to go up into the megahertz and gigahertz. Well, not gigahertz, I think it goes up to the megahertz, which can be a blessing and a curse, because one of the things I learned about audio circuits is that sometimes you can see things, but you can't actually hear them. And sometimes it's what you hear that counts. In fact, a lot of the times it's what you hear that counts. So sometimes you can see something on a scope and go, oh no, what's going on here? Put it through an audio interface and it doesn't show up. Because that's how audio works. It's 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, generally speaking. Now, obviously, when you get into high-end audio interfaces and you're up to 192 kilohertz, that's when things can get a little bit more. The rule doesn't quite apply as much, but it's still 192 kilohertz. If you think about it, if you're looking at signals in the megahertz, it's still miles away from 100 92 kilohertz, which all you can see. So yeah, I don't know much else. Are you ready to continue, Rants, with your VST stuff?
Yeah, it's not really VST, but close.
Oh, audio.
Yep. We'll go across. Ableton. A lot of people have got Ableton. If you haven't got Ableton, there will be something in your DAW. Unfortunately, I don't have licenses for a million different types of DAW.
There's a free one, Rans, because things like Logic don't have there's something called there's Wave Observer.
Okay.
Which is a free download for Mac or Windows.
So this is in Ableton, and this is actually part of the Max for Live. The group that you go and actually download these for free, and this particular one is just called J Oscilloscope or something, wherever it is. I can actually probably send you guys links to these, but you can find them in the free Max for Live forums anyway. They're easy to find. So that's that same triangle waveform that I had going through the Xcelon before, and you can see it running here. You can actually muck around with the buffer and the gain to view your waveforms in here too, which is actually pretty cool. So you can see, one of the things you can see there is a little tiny little sort of peak, just a little peak there that seems to be on and off at some different, so there's a bit of, I don't know whether it's a bit of electrical interference on it, but you can still see it. It's just jumping up and down, it's poking in and out on those little steps on that waveform. So these are the sort of things that show you, visually what's going on. There's another one you can get, which I'll just close that one, which is just called Oscilloscope, and it just holds it down there, and you can just look at and you've got the buffer, and you can change the zoom, the gain will zoom again that way. So it's kind of like horizontal, vertical, same thing. And it just does what it's doing, and this is just taking an audio input straight in from my eurorack through my digital input. So that's that. I'll just go closer in again so you guys can see it. That's literally just a little Max for Live oscilloscope plugin that you just literally download it as a AXM, I think it is, whatever it's called, file, and drop it in straight into a channel, and it works as long as you've got, I think it's Ableton Suite, I think you've got to have to run these. I'm not sure if it runs on the standard one. I haven't tried actually. They might.
It won't. Max for Live won't run on standard Ableton.
Yeah.
It has to be Suite upwards.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, how about Voxengo? Voxengo do quite a few free analysis plugins. That particular company, they've been around for a long time. The Voxengo Span is their FFT-based spectrum analyzer, which is well respected and used, been around for a long time. I don't know if they do an oscilloscope, but they probably do. There definitely are some free oscilloscopes, but again,
Ian,
even I wrote one.
Ian, hold that up, mate, because that was the next. That was actually literally the next one I was going to.
Oh, it's the next, was it?
Yeah. So hold that one up. That is the Korg NTS3, isn't it?
S2.
S2. Sorry, 2. And that's
NTS2.
Yeah. That's got the oscilloscope built into it, and obviously Eurorack compatible, and also Park Bench compatible there.
Absolutely. I've just learned something actually, because I've never really used it since I bought it. But don't leave your batteries in it, because I've not switched it on for 3 or 4 months, and it's flattened the batteries, which are a new set of batteries that I put in. So keep your batteries out of it, which is a slight irritation, isn't it, when that happens?
Yeah. The higher the tech, the less. Yeah, the worse.
Ian, put the piece of paper in the battery. That's the old trick. So you leave them in place, put a piece of paper to block the.
That works. That's a good idea, Andy. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not just making a contact. Yeah. It is an issue with some of the sort of small Korg stuff, because the K oscillator was exactly the same. The original, I don't know about K oscillator 2, but the K oscillator 1, you couldn't leave the batteries in it. But I've not even used it yet. I've never needed to use it, but it's nice to have if for that day when I think I wanted an oscilloscope.
The other thing you can look at similarly is one of these little handheld scopes. You'll see them available. Even the sort of the chunkier sort of fluke style handheld scopes could probably still be of use to you in your studio. I think they might be a cheaper option as well. But yeah, that NTS3 is since that came out, I think it's kind of been go-to for that for audio.
Yeah, it says it's built on a 4-channel oscilloscope, but it's only 2 inputs, which is interesting. Oh, there's a couple, 1 2 through 1 2 and then output 1 2. That's really all you need, isn't it?
2, I reckon.
It's also a guitar tuner if you need one. Yeah.
Yeah, my oscilloscope, the modular I got, because Mordax data was out of stock everywhere for a while, so I had to buy something. It was also smaller, the O-Tool Plus. It's a 2 input. It can do the stacking. It can do the Lissajou. It can do tell you the voltage of stuff. It can do all kinds of stuff. So it has many modes, just like Mordax data, but it's like half the width, roughly, and is a lot cheaper. So if you want something that will get you through and not break the bank, O-Tool Plus is really cool. There's also Super Park Bench compatible iOS apps like this one.
Yeah, there are. Yeah,
you can plug an audio input to it. This is Oscillizer, which is really good. I've had, they're like 10 or 12 different apps for iOS. Some went away, but this one's really cool here. Actually, before I forget, there's a measurement mode here, and you can measure different ways. So I'll turn on this measurement mode here, and now it's measuring that way and giving you little measurement points. And then you can measure this way too. Like that. But this other app is even better and much fancier. It's got the frequency as well as the oscilloscope at the same time. So this is there are tons of these on iOS. But this one's called Audio Spectrum Analyzer. And also don't forget you have Arduino based ones you can build. NTS2 is also cool. And they even made a watch one I was going to buy. A watch oscilloscope with little leads that come out of it. Park Bench compatible as well. So there you go.
Yeah.
Lots of options.
I mean, the NTS2 might be a bit pricey now because I bought it when it was with the free Boots book. Oscillators and stuff. And
well, for a while they didn't include it, right? They had trouble including them together.
Well, I've just looked on the Korg website now, and it's not included now. But the NTS2 is now £150. There are probably better oscilloscopes for less.
Well, that's Siglent.
Really,
that Siglent desktop scope that I was showing you at first, the actual electronic one, is the same price.
Yeah,
it's $300.
Yeah, that'll be a better buy. That'll be a better buy.
They've come down in price.
So this was
in the last 10 years.
This was another one that I made. This is a DIY oscilloscope. I haven't got it plugged in at the moment, but it's all bodgy soldering for me. This is a Plum Audio project you can get through the internet. What you actually have to do though is you have to buy the scope kit from AliExpress or Amazon or whatever, and you modify that scope kit to turn it into a eurorack module. Now, for me, it's pretty Mickey Mouse, that one. It does the job, though. It's just a single input. It does the job, but I still think Mordax data, if you're in eurorack land, is the way to go.
Yeah. If you have the space and the money, the Mordax is the better one, but not everyone has that. So
someone mentioned VCV Rack was, I think Tracker Jake mentioned it. So there is a free oscilloscope on there, I believe. I'm not sure. I haven't actually tried it. I've got
also
VCV
go to a
Rack.
surplus store. I got some actual CRT storage scopes free from work where I used to work from people. They would throw them away.
I'll just grab the other one.
Great.
Yeah, some of the vintage.
You can do that, or go to a surplus store and get an oscilloscope for $50.
Yeah,
and even for the stuff made in the last 10 years, check second.
Yeah, even the digital ones and stuff.
You don't have to.
But like mine, you had to do a BNC converter, BNC to RCA or something like that, and you can plug it into anything.
Rance and I both use BNC to RCA converters in some form or another.
Yeah, it's great.
Inexpensive to buy a little converter.
Yeah, you can get a digital oscilloscope from £50 upwards on Amazon.
It's probably the most important thing is to learn.
These
how
are
to
the
use
cheap.
it.
These ones here are the cheap kits that you can get
for what you want to do.
From Amazon.
Maybe you want to do something pretty simple and you don't need to learn that much. Maybe you need to do something complex. Might mean you need to do a little bit more reading and playing. But... Ooh, is that the Temu one? Rance?
Yeah, it's like the cheap. No, it's not the Temu one, but it's a cheap one you can get from Amazon. I've had this for years. This one. Let me just go big version of me. So you can see there's the name. There's the actual model number on there, DSO138. You can order these. They're so cheap because they're literally firing out. But it's just really basic single input DC barrel to connect, and you've got only a few basic controls across the top. It's all. This is all. I don't know, 3D printed or whatever it is. This thing. So you could do that if you're on a budge. That would do you. Yeah, that was like $30 Oz, $15 on the pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, that'll get you going.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can get one inexpensive like that. One like that. You know, it may do exactly what you need, and it may not need to be anything more complex. But you might get it and go, hang on, I wish this would do this, and the buttons were easy to press, and then I could adjust this. Then you'll know, without having spent too much money, what you do want to spend your money on. So sometimes getting cheap things are a good idea, especially if you're just entering.
You can get a kit, a soldering practice kit that turns into an oscillator for £9 on Amazon. Free delivery, arrives tomorrow.
That's what one of those waveforms sound like. If you ever want to know.
Oh, the squared off one.
Yeah,
that's cute.
I just realized I was on mute. I said everyone's got a phone. Just get one of the phone apps. They're either dirt cheap or free.
Yeah,
and you can't go wrong.
But the problem with the phone apps, Andy, and this is not a criticism what you're saying, but if you want to connect your gear to it, it can be a bit of a pain. So that's all I would say.
Well, the only thing, it's not going to do modular signals, right? I'm not going to pump an oscillator into this thing. It's going to be for audio, but I can still do tons of analysis. I learned how to do all kinds of cool waveform stuff on Moog Rogue with just audio.
Yeah,
you know,
just
all right.
Pumping it out speakers.
Wilfried, you're in. So we're just going to add you to the thing. Is your audio working, buddy? Maybe it's a Zoom thing. It said, I'm looking at the Zoom app. It says you're muted. So you have to unmute yourself. In the actual Zoom app itself, it says you're muted. So unmute yourself in the Zoom app. And Keith, that might have been your problem too, buddy. You might have been. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Does it work?
Yep, we're here now.
Yep.
Okay.
So, how are you, bud? You good?
Okay, I take away my headset not to have the echo. So I don't know what someone is saying now. Yes, Ivan.
All right. The only problem with that is if we're telling you something.
I put in Discord a link just now. The time before Blackmagic take over the Fairlight company, there was a lot of resources. They was online, and when they bought it, then suddenly, even in the history of the internet, all was deleted. They take all away. So we have a lot of resources. Someone did post the intranet once. This page is still available. But, we get older and so on. And to keep the resources, I put a link for a zip file so we can make mirrors. there is a lot of knowledge and historic because all the historic is deleted. There are repair fields, a lot of information about CMI, and I put in the Discord. I guess. Wait, I have it. Discord. I have only here on the iPad. In the Discord, it's in general. There is also a link that I don't make fakes. There is the official announcement. The Fairlight price was just 2,000 euros. Used was an official announcement, and no one did want it. So we didn't have the money at that time, but now the Fairlight is bought. And there's a small community, the workflows, and very interesting. A lot of companies that were around and make tools and software. So we have all the ISO saved for Windows 7. And the resource just the people who have interest just for download, they can email me. I protect it that way. They can email me with hello from Ranzee. So if someone is interested, just to go through the resources, there is one available online where we put all the things together. So, for example, the CMI that one that it bought, there's an original contract. Stevie did sign with his son because he was blind, or such resources, all the documentation, a lot of PDF files and so on. I think that's quite interesting for someone who is interested in history.
All right, no probs. Okay, now I have just put the link to Discord on the screen down the bottom, so you guys who are interested in Discord.
And in general,
so just 1 second, but I have to mute you for a sec because you're talking over the top of me. So the link to Discord is down the bottom, and the information that he was just telling us about is in the Discord in the general room. So it's the last post in there. There's a Google Drive link. There's 10 gigabytes worth of stuff you can go download if you're interested in any of that Fairlight stuff that he was just talking about. By the way, this is not related to anything that we were talking about with scopes or anything like that. So this is just he's just coming in and letting us know about it. But all the information's there on the Discord link, and go check that out. We're going to have to move on, Wilfred, on that topic, mate. We don't have time to sit there and talk about that for a long time because it's kind of just short of time. We've got to get through our oscilloscope segment, mate. But you're welcome to stay. But I've given everybody the link so they can go check it out on their own. If they want to contact you about it, they can chat to you in chat, or they can send you an email. You've got your email in there anyway. All right, beautiful. Okay, let's keep going with the oscilloscopes because that's kind of segued right away from what we were talking about. Where we were at now was I just had Discord open just before. So Keith was trying to get into Zoom before, and I think unfortunately for him, he couldn't get his audio working. I think he just had the mute switch on in any way. So maybe Zoom. I don't know if you're still around, Keith. Try it again, mate. What he wanted us to cover on the show was where are we? The DAW side of oscilloscopes. So I've shown the Ableton one. Someone mentioned VCV Rack, which is free. You can get VCV Rack for free. Apparently, X101 in Discord was talking about there was something to do with Cubase, having something in there. I don't know if does any of you guys use Cubase? I thought one of you guys used Cubase.
Yeah.
Used to.
There isn't one in Logic, and I don't think there's one in Reaper. I'll check Reaper now, actually, just to make sure.
I haven't been
There's
keeping
definitely not one in Logic.
Guys, keep an eye on chat because people have probably been singing out in chat saying, "Oh, there's one in blah blah blah."
I did put a link in the chat, but obviously it's not a live link to the one that's Wave Observer, which is a free Mac Windows one.
Yep.
BST.
Yeah, no
I'm
problem.
just going to Reaper.
Some of the
free ones all over the place.
Some of the older DAWs used to have oscilloscopes in them, and they took them out. You know, like I'm talking like maybe say 20 years ago, they used to have one in there, and they've taken it out, sort of thing. I remember like I had Steinberg Cubase. I'm pretty sure it had one in there.
Sorry, Rance. Yeah, there is a one as part of the Reaper's homegrown apps. The JS oscilloscope. So there's one in there.
All right. So Keith's back in. Let's just get him working again. Keith, I'm just going to have a look at what's going on with you in Zoom. Zoom guest 2. All right. So let's have a look at you in Zoom. So yeah, Keith, on your Zoom app itself, you're muted. So if you can find the microphone icon somewhere, unmute yourself.
Move your mouse to get it to bring up your charms. Zoom the one where
Wilfred's showing his kitchen.
Muted.
Wilfred's muted as well. Hey, hello. It's still showing as muted, Keith. So it's on the actual. Are you using the browser version? If you're using the browser version, it is someone. We had this before, didn't we? Someone actually mentioned how to find it in the browser version. If I do this, I reckon it's going to crash the show.
Here we go.
There you go.
Hey.
Found it.
Here we go.
Hey.
Where did they put the mute button over there?
It's in a weird spot, isn't it?
It's yeah. It's right on the corner. Out your eye. Sorry. Out your eye line. Here we go.
All right, mate. So we were chatting briefly in Discord during the week about the oscilloscope stuff, and you obviously wanted us to cover it for the DAWs. You know, I don't know what DAW you've got, Keith. Do you have Cubase or do you use Ableton?
I have Cubase.
Okay. So as mentioned before, Ian, do you want to just remind what you said before about Cubase?
Yeah, the Wave Observer. I have put a link in the chat, but it's not a live link, Keith. The Wave Observer you can download for Mac or Windows, and it's a free. There's probably a paid version as well, but fundamentally the oscilloscope is freemium.
Which chat did you put it in, Ian? In the YouTube chat?
I just put it in the main chat, actually. So do you want me to put it in the private chat?
Chuck it in the vMix call chat, and I'll put it into the...
Right. Cool. Do that.
And then we'll get across to here. Just waiting for Ian's link, and then we'll put... There we go.
There you go.
Come on.
Waiting for it. Got it. Done. Posting. It's now in YouTube chat.
Well, hey.
There you go. So let's have a quick look at this. It's Wave Observer. It's a oscilloscope and monitoring plugin. It is free, and you can get it for both Mac and Windows. There you go. So check that out. Does it do... Oh yeah, it does scopes.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of screenshots with this, but
no, there's not a huge amount of information.
It does do waveforms, like, you know, the single line waveforms. It does do that, but it also does audio waveforms as well. Yeah, it looks pretty good, nice and colourful.
Yeah, but its formats are VST, VST3, AU, and AUX. So most bases. No. What's the one that's missing?
You can never argue for free.
No, exactly.
Yeah. So Keith, what else did you want us to cover, mate? I know it wasn't just you that was kind of interested in this topic, but were you wanting us to cover any sort of technical sides, like how you can use them or anything like that? Or what sort of stuff were you after?
Well, I sort of think some of it was to do with the do's and don'ts. If I was looking to buy a cheap one under £100.
Yeah.
So is there anything I don't want or I 100% do want? That.
Well, I kind of feel like if you're going to get a hardware one, I kind of feel like these sort of real cheap Temu / AliExpress, they're okay if you're just wanting to visually look at what the waveform looks like. So if you get a visual representation, there's a little bit of rudimentary control, zooming and things like that. It's not bad. It does its job. It's single channel, so you can only do one at a time. And 15 quid, you got that job done. The only thing is it takes that type of connector, so you will need to have some sort of adapter to go from that BNC type connector to whatever you've got. Now I've just, on my Xcelon, I've gone to the local electronic shop and
got a BNC to RCA. Yeah.
I've just got a BNC to RCA connector adapter thing. Get rid of my face and you can see it. There we go. So it's literally two different things. It wants my face. Go away, face. It's two different things. So that's the BNC to RCA, and that's an RCA to 3.5mm jack. So I'm able to plug the eurorack 3.5mm cable straight into the back of that. And you can also use this thing on here as well. You can use it on that one. Works for there. So straight in. No problem at all. To buy a Mordax starter, they're not cheap. What are they now, guys? They're probably 250
US. 400 in the UK.
£400.
Are
you serious?
The full size one.
Wow, like the one I've got.
Wow. Yeah.
I believe
wow.
so.
Newish, or even a used one's at 380.
They've
that's why I never got one, because I thought 450, 440 odd quid.
Oh yeah, they are too.
That's right. Yeah, no, same here.
Wow, that's a pretty pricey thing.
Stopped me from buying it. It's expense. Yeah.
$700 in Australia.
I think Juno in the UK was doing the NTS2 for 130.
Yeah.
Probably something like that would do me as a visual guide.
I mean, there are also other modules like this floating around that are already pre-built. And the only thing I'll say though, Keith, is these are basically one of these Temu. These are basically the same thing. They've just converted them into eurorack. That's basically that same logic guts, right? Digital converted into eurorack.
Yeah, most of the modules are.
It's not as good as a Mordax data. I mean, obviously,
which is dead.
It's different.
Designed from the ground.
Yeah, once Divkid started using the Mordax data, you couldn't find them anywhere. They were always out of stock.
Yeah.
And at $500, and I just got something else. But if you're willing to wait, if they're not common, they run out. Just they're cool. They just take a lot of space.
I got mine pretty cheap, I have to admit. Mine was used, by the way. Let's see if I can find out how much I paid for mine.
Aussie wigglers, I bet.
Oh no, I actually bought mine brand new. Sorry, I do lie. I do lie. I bought mine brand new, but geez, it's a lot cheaper than what it is now.
And also, didn't one of the firmware editions add like a sequencer to it or something weird like that? It can also do more than just the data stuff.
I got mine for £300.
Weird edition,
Keith. So, I mean, that wasn't that long ago. It was only 2 years ago. Geez, they've come up in price. That's a bit sad, actually.
Yeah, it is.
No, I think they've for the sort of probably all the times I've looked, they've been like said that 4 to 450 constantly.
Yeah, Keith, I think from the very first time they came out, they've been about 449 around that price.
Yeah,
ever
that's
since
right.
They launched.
Yeah, they've never dropped in price or anything. They've never.
Yeah,
I thought
that's what I've noticed.
I thought a while back that someone like Divkid and or Robin had like a half-size one. That I think
That's
at the
the
time.
O2 Plus. That's the one I have.
Is that what it is? Like I say, at the time, I don't
Yeah.
think they were meant to be showing it, but they did.
Oh, maybe Mordax had a small one. I've only seen the big one, but
Well, unless they had prototypes or something, and
I was going to say, I think they had a 2-channel one, that small one, I'm sure.
yeah,
But I haven't seen them available.
no, so that's what I'm
okay.
saying.
Perfect Circuit has them for $400, so they did go down a little bit. But
There we go. I'm trying to squeeze you in there. There we go. Even better. There you go, Keith. You're in. Right.
Marvelous.
Because the other guys left, so we don't need to have that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, in terms of hardware, there is definitely good ones. Mordax Data is definitely good. Those big scopes that we talked about, these are actually really cheap to buy. Like that's Siglent. If you do a search for that, they're only $300 Aussie, so that would be 150 quid. Now, if you don't want to have a big lumpy one of these sort of things hanging around, I get it. But one of the things I will say about these is they're very, very accurate compared to some of these other things that people are putting in their Eurorack modules. So if you really want to
calibrate,
get forensic about what you're seeing, as in oscilloscope wise, these are going to have, because they're test level electronics in them. They'll have noise filtering in them. They'll have all sorts of stuff that stops anything interfering with the signal going in and showing you what your measurements are. So if you really want to get sort of forensic about
they're cool.
Like,
but
for
they
example,
can be feature overkill for a newbie. They're like, there's a lot of settings on there. It might freak some people out. So just be aware of
say you
that.
brought the Moog Muse and you wanted to look at the the triangle waveforms on it. That's probably going to be good.
The choice between a like a 12 megabits per second scope and a 4 megahertz, a 12 megahertz scope and a 4 megahertz.
The good thing with yours, Ranzee, is it's shallow.
Yeah.
It's a lot of oscilloscopes are deep.
Yeah.
They're
it's only that, like going from front to back. It's that
too,
like that. Yeah. So is the Rigol. Rigols are really good.
So the Chinese ones are shallow. That's sort of what they've gone for.
£259 for my exact. And you'd probably be able to find this cheaper, but tester.co.uk, £259 for my. That's not including VAT, of course. But for that exact scope that I've got, I'm not saying my scope is good, by the way, because it's kind of low end, but it's two channel, and I find 2-channel really, really handy. I think 1 channel is never enough. 2 channels, you can get away with most jobs. The Mordax Data House got 4 channels. Sometimes I don't even use the 3rd and the 4th channel in that. I think 2 channels is a really good sweet spot for most people. And the reason why 2 channels is good is because, like, you could look at your waveform from your oscillator, and then you could look at your envelope at the same time. So you can do sort of those 2 things. Yeah.
It's comparison, input, output, especially when you're trying to track a problem between a signal flow from one place to another place. It's good to have 2, your source and your destination. You can compare the 2.
Yeah. So, other than that, like, the next thing is kind of like learning how to use them, and then that's kind of like another show. But I feel like most people will be able to plug, like, even that Korg NTS thing. You had to plug your waveform in, it would show pretty much straight away. There's auto buttons on a lot of these things. So, like, even if you buy one of these expensive ones, Keith, you can chuck your inputs in and press auto on it. Usually, 99% of the time, it'll show your waveform. The auto sensing on them is pretty accurate. Some brands maybe not, but others, depends on which one you go with. Try and do your sort of your standard YouTube / forum research before you buy them. Don't go for a brand that you've never heard of. EV Blog is a good place, actually.
Good place. Yep.
Good Aussie guy.
Excellent.
If you want to know about oscilloscopes, he's an expert, that guy. So if you really want to get real nerdy into oscilloscopes, he can tell you about them. But that's electronics, right? That's kind of down the electronics engineering side of things. For us as musicians, we just want to know what our waveforms look like and anything kind of around sort of voltages. If we're in Eurorack, we might want to know how it's handling voltage, especially with envelopes. Is the envelopes, plus or minus 10 volts. These sort of things you may want to know, and those oscilloscopes will do the job for that.
So does the voltage input matter? I mean, are they all pretty much, you just plug, like you said, plus or minus 10 volts into almost anything and it won't do any harm?
Yeah. Most of them can handle that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was another question I had really, was whether they were input limited on voltage and things.
Well, these scopes will do 240 volts or 220 your part of the world. So you can plug some really high voltage stuff into these.
You can look at the mains,
Yeah. And I've even done that here with this particular scope. I've actually
you probably wouldn't put chuck mains into the NTS2.
No, that's not a good idea.
Unless you want to see the magic smoke come out.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah. But to give you an idea, Keith, I've used this to measure capacitors and seeing what they're doing with the power supply connected to it, and that's at 240 volt level. And I've also seen noise. You can get all sorts of different types of things in circuits, and this is starting to get into electronics now. But if you're into synthesizers, especially if you're into like what Kent does, right, and repairing them and keeping old vintage synths going, like I've got quite a few here myself, and I keep them going myself. You have to know a little bit about that stuff in that side of the world. Otherwise, you're going to be shipping that gear off to someone who knows how to do it. So it's a good way of learning, I guess. Learning how to read a scope is really, really helpful. EVV blog again. Go see Dave Jones, his name is.
You'll never forget his voice.
Yeah. Sounds like one of us, Keith.
Yeah.
Higher pitched.
Yeah, he's got
a bad thing.
A higher pitched voice, yeah. I feel like if you all you want to do is just visually look at what you're playing, I feel like just get one of those Korg things or one of those Eurorack modules. They probably do the trick, and you're done. But if you want to be, like I said, if you want to be more forensic, then Mordax data is the way to go. Or if you want to keep it in your modular, or you don't need to get an external scope. What Andy said before too is actually quite good. Like an iPad app, if you've got some way of, I've got an iPad that's got an oscilloscope on it. It's a free app. If you've got some way of getting audio into your iPad app, if you know how to do that with a camera connection kit, that may also be a quick and dirty way around it.
Or the microphone in a pinch if you're playing in the room. It can work.
The only problem with them though is you can't really get too forensic with them. That's more sort of handling the job on the cheap.
No, for learning. Like I was learning what the filter did on certain things and what levels will give me a sine wave and what levels will give me this and that. Yeah. And it's just very clever to see that.
The other thing I'd probably mention too is sometimes it's not an oscilloscope you want. Sometimes it's like Chris mentioned it too with his Rigol. You probably want to look at the spectrum analyzer as an option. And like I said, the Mordax data's got a spectrum analyzer. It's a different menu option in it. I'll show you that in a sec.
That's why the 2-in-1 is great, because you get both at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. So. But in your DAW, you should have a spectrum analyzer. If you don't, I'd be very disappointed in that DAW. But Ableton's got one. I can show you what that looks like.
A lot of EQs these days have spectrum analyzers built into the EQ.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the EQ itself. All that, like you said, Chris, that Vox and Go span is probably one of. It's got the correlation meter as well. So
yeah, good free stuff from Melda.
So Keith, that's Ableton again, and I've done is I've just dropped the spectrum. This is built into Ableton under audio utilities. Just drop it in. It's got tuners. It's got other things in there, and that's your spectrum analyzer. That's that. You can see below, see the oscilloscope below? That's that same waveform that I was showing you before. That's that one, the triangle stepped triangle thing.
So you can see how many harmonics.
That's. You want to hear what it sounds like?
Many.
It sounds like that. That's what you're hearing.
There's your fundamental. Like Mount Fuji.
That's an LFO, by the way.
If you watch Nick Bat's Sonic Lab stuff or Ziv's videos, they always have the spectrum analyzer and the oscilloscope at the same time.
Yeah,
it'll pop out on the screen.
Yeah, I do it with my videos as well. Yeah, and I've used those little Max for Live plugins for years. They've been so good. Nothing wrong with them. I'm just really curious with that VCV rack one. I've never actually seen it in VCV rack. So, where are we? Library, up to date, cool. So, how do I add something in here? Here we go. There's the oscilloscope. Let's chuck that in. All right. Bang. What can we chuck in here? VCO, sine wave, into there. There you go.
Bingo.
VCV rack. It's free. Now I could bring that same waveform in that I've got coming out of my eurorack into here if I spent a couple of minutes bringing it in through the audio input. Yeah, so give me a sec, and I'll see if I can get that going while you guys chat amongst yourselves.
If you want a fun visual for your performance, put in "This Is You" mode, and you get the spinning stuff.
Maybe a different colour than red. That's not coming through very well.
Yeah, different colour. Get rid of that
for us.
From device.
Colours can sometimes be the tricky thing with the oscilloscopes, especially four trace ones. They kind of run out of good visibility by the time you run, up to 3 channels. So I find frustrating.
There it is.
Is if I want to use 4 channels, often it's the fourth one is the colour I use the least because it's the most hard to see. So sometimes 2 is better than 4. Plug it into the green one, Ranzee.
Yeah, hang on a sec. Let me see if we can zoom in on this for us a little bit. Zoom. You want the green one?
Yeah. The yellow one. Sorry, I forget you're colorblind.
Whichever one you want. All right, so now we can change this
synchronization trigger.
Yeah, where are we? I don't know how to use this thing.
It does have a trigger.
It does have a trigger. I don't know if you can change that.
You change it to 2. Oh no, because you're in 3 now. You're in channel 3, yeah. So you need to change it to 3.
Yeah.
And then adjust your level, I think.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think I need.
Doesn't tell you where the level is, does it?
Yeah, no.
It's a knob with no indication.
I mean, that's obviously your voltage. Anyway, there'd be a way to. I haven't used this before. You can freeze it.
No. There you go.
Let's change the voltage. Is there any H? No, it's not. Anyway, I mean, it's not bad.
Should be.
It's not bad.
RTFM.
Yeah. Yep. Use the time knob, they're saying. The time knob. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Time divisions, basically.
Oh, there you go.
Just don't push the history eraser button. Ren Stimpy.
Fine tune it so that
let's just get rid of that
the
cable.
window size matches your
so that
frequency
that's
of your oscillator.
Pretty cool. I mean, that's this the steppy triangle wave, but I can change the waveform. So there you go. I'm changing the waveform in my eurorack. How do I show you this? I'll just put me up in the corner there. You can see me with my hand doing it. Steppy. There's the steppy. There's the sorry.
Turning into a triangle. And to a double sign.
Yeah. Noisy sign.
Wave-folded sign. Yeah. Noisy sign. That's it.
All different.
That's the toothy.
That's it.
It's quite cool. I mean, that's kind of what you're after, isn't it, Keith? You just want to be able to see stuff like that.
Yeah, just a yeah.
Well, that's VCV rack. And if you've got some sort of DC coupled audio interface, which I've got the Expert Sleepers, I always talk about this, the ES8, ES9, both of those work beautifully. You can bring that straight into your DAW and do it on your computer. The other cool thing about putting it on your computer is you can screen record your computers as well if you want to get video captures of that stuff, which is also awesome. But yeah, what Andy was saying too, with the ES8, the ES8 has a USB interface on it. If you plug that into your iPad via the camera connection kit, you've got DC coupled audio going straight into your iPad or your iPhone. So why am I showing myself twice? I just want to be above Andy's head. Hi, Andy.
It's okay.
You're asserting your authority.
Yeah. So, yeah, like what Gilly was saying in chat, like software sometimes isn't an accurate measurement too when you're doing it through software. So I find though the Ableton's pretty accurate though with the spectrum analyzer. I find that actually really accurate. But these, you're never going to go wrong with these things. They are accurate. Very rarely do they do firmware updates. That's how you know.
I generally just use it for ballpark visualizing stuff, and you know, like I said, I learned how to do a sine wave on a Moog Rogue when it doesn't have a built-in sine wave. Mess with the filter long enough, and I could see the sine wave before I could hear it. Then I plugged it in. I go, oh yeah, there's the sine wave.
Yeah. So resonant, add some resonance to your filter, and away you go. Yeah.
I mean, I mainly use them for Max MSP, but that was a while ago. Because you needed it all the time with that. And there's one already built into Max MSP.
I think when you start mucking around with envelopes and using oscilloscopes with envelopes, especially if you've got complex envelopes, like envelopes that have got more than one or two stages in them, that's when those oscilloscopes come in real handy, because you can actually visualize the audio, how the audio is going to be modulated over time visually. So you can see it rising up, holding, doing something else, and then releasing, and you can see that visually happening over time. It really helps you understand what you're doing to your filter, or what you're doing to your VCA or something like that. Here we go. Did anyone else want to know anything else about oscilloscopes? What synth do you have that has an oscilloscope built in? Like I've got the Korg
XD
Minilog.
Minilog.
Hydrosense,
Op6,
doesn't it?
Monologue, all of that range. The Wave State will have it. They've all got a little... I don't know how useful they are, really.
They're fun.
They're very entertaining the first time you switch it on.
I don't know.
Exactly,
I probably agree with.
yeah.
I probably agree with you, Ian. I don't think they're that useful.
Limited.
Like, Keith, you've got the Brains module, don't you, from Behringer?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's got the little oscilloscope in it.
Yeah, I'm not convinced.
You can actually use that, don't you? So if you do if you do a firmware update on that, this is not for you because I know you know this, Keith, but this is for everyone else. If you've got the Brains module from Behringer and you do the latest firmware update on it, you can put it into one of the modes, one of the patch modes, and it can take an audio signal in and it will show it up on the oscilloscope for you. I mean, that's a real quick and dirty oscilloscope if you've already got... It's a cheap module too. What's a Brains worth? 80 quid or something?
Yeah, probably 80 quid.
77 quids at Anderton's.
Ian, I forgot, the NTS2, is it just an oscilloscope or is it useful for more stuff?
No, it's got quite a few modes on it, actually. There's you can do. Let me just switch it on and have a look. So
I was going to get one.
It'll do it'll do FFT. It's built-in tuner. It's got a wave mode. Like I say, I've not done very much with it actually since I got it. I probably should spend some time messing around with it. But
signal generator.
I need something to. Sorry, signal generator. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I can generate tests.
But I haven't needed it. I need a project that I need it for, really.
I mean, if you do have the budget for a Mordax starter, I do recommend them because they've got quite a few other things built into them that are very useful. The other one you could do is the Ornaments and Crime.
Yeah.
That's got an oscilloscope in it. So if you don't have that, but yeah, anyway, back to the Mordax starter. It's got the oscilloscope, spectrum analyzer. It's got a tuner. It's got a tone generator or waveform generator in it, and I think I'm leaving one other thing out. I feel like there was 5 things.
I think it has the X and Y.
Yeah, that's right. The
Bode plot or whatever it is called.
I'll just show you. I can't talk, but I'll show you. There's a little context menu when you open it on. So they're the options that you get when you turn it on. Voltage monitor, that was what it was. So you don't actually have to use it as an oscilloscope. You can use it with all those other things. The spectrograph was what you were talking about, wasn't it? So that's the spectrograph there.
I think that's a sonogram.
And then you've got the analyzer.
Sweet.
Has that got all the channels turned on? There we go. And then you've got the tuner. The tuner's really handy. So you can actually tune 4 different inputs.
Cool.
And the other thing is nothing to do with oscilloscopes. Then you've also got a wave outputter. That's really handy. So if you want to, it actually does the opposite. Instead of reading waveforms, it generates them. And you can actually set it to, there's a few different waveforms you can set it to, but you can actually use this as an oscillator. Or a function generator.
Yeah, and a quad clock source also, it says here.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty cool. If you can afford one, go for it. I mean, there's a lot of people that will say they bought one, they never use it. I've heard people say that, so be careful because I use mine all the time. But there's times where I don't. There's times where I'll turn it off and I'll take it out and I'll put it back in its box. So for me, I'm more like that with my modular though. I do take things out, put them in a way, and then I know that they're there. I'll bring them back out again. But if it's going to be something that you're never going to use again, then yeah, you probably bought something that you shouldn't have. I've bought modules like that. I've sold eurorack modules. In fact, I actually sold my Roland Scooper the other day.
Oh.
Well, I wasn't getting any love out of it anymore. So I think it's probably one of my first eurorack modules, wasn't it, Daren? That one.
Probably, yeah.
Well, you only needed it because the rack version of the System 1 didn't have it built in. So.
Yep. Yeah, and it disappointingly did not do a lot of active audio stuff. That was the problem with it. It just you had to use it like a record and playback. I mean, it handled that really well. Like for example, it's kind of like you're recording a loop, right? And you could then play with the scatter on the loop. But what would have been cool is if it had enough DSP in it for you to be able to do the scatter on the audio live as it was coming through.
Oh, weird. Well, because it's live on the synth, but maybe they wired it differently or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Go for it, Keith.
Because scatter is really good on the TR8 also. So.
Yeah, don't ask, don't get.
That's it.
Absolutely.
That's it. Yeah. But with Scatter, by the way, you guys can create that in your DAW without too much effort. And there's also VSTs that do it as well.
Yeah.
Like Shaperbox is a good one. I don't know if you guys have heard of Shaperbox.
Yeah.
Cable guys. Great module. Sorry, great VST, what am I saying? So, I mean, that would be a great module.
Would be.
Yeah. So
all the cable guys VSTs into a little module, that'd be cool.
Well, a couple of different modules, hey, Darren. That'd be nice, you know?
Oh, well, yes, let's make more money, yes.
Yeah. Gotta have the business model there, mate.
Yeah. I was just thinking of practicability. You're thinking of the money-wise.
Not if it's my money, though. I'm back with you again now, Darren. Yeah, so I think we've done it, guys. I think we've covered oscilloscopes. You know, there's plenty out there, free and not free.
I mean, yeah, I stopped getting one for the reason that after I thought about it for a bit, because like Keith was looking for the more data like I was, and then I thought about it and I thought, do I really need one in what I do and what I need? And I just pulled back from it, and I probably don't need one myself, but it depends on what you want to do with it. If you're into eurorack, that big and
great for experimentation, but you wouldn't use it all the time. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it'd probably end up being a box for me that'd just be put in a bit like Ian. He's not even used his.
Well, exactly. It sits on the shelf, you know, and I haven't used it.
Also, if you have it in your videos, people take you seriously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I'm going wrong, Andy. That's where I'm going wrong on my videos.
Yeah. Just put that in the background here while you're doing any video.
So watch out. It's going to be in every video from now on.
That's it. Even when it's not just sitting there. Just, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think from my point of view, if you go back to some of my earlier videos with eurorack modules where I've gone and put them through oscilloscopes, and then I've learnt that these things are doing some cool wacky stuff, and then I've gone, okay, let's have a listen to that, and then all of a sudden you've got these crazy sounds and you think, wow. Like I remember doing an envelope, and then I put a sine wave and a square wave, so I modulated a sine wave with a square wave, so the square wave was curving around the sine wave, like it was doing this, and then I put that over modulating an envelope on one of the envelope inputs, and I was getting this thing to sort of release the VCA with this kind of gradual sort of sound. It was crazy. And so you can do all sorts. Once you visually see it there, you go, oh, that's going to sound awesome. So I'm going to plug that in and see what it sounds like. But the other cool thing about it is that you visually can see it, and as you're doing it, you're thinking, okay, now I understand what's going on, and you kind of, it's almost like leveling up your synthesis knowledge in a way. That's how I felt when I was doing it years ago. Like I was doing it probably, I don't know, maybe. Wow, we've got a few people joining on Zoom. I don't know if they're Rigid Itch people. No, they're not. Want to say goodbye to them?
Oh.
It's all right, I'll kick them out.
I remember I was playing with Mathematica a lot for doing some synthesis a long time ago on an old Mac. And it was cool because it's all visual. Mathematica is totally a visual tool for serious mathematicians, but it's great for synthesis. And I fed this thing called a Bessel function into it, and it looks exactly how it sounds. It's very cool. So,
yeah, is that something like MATLAB? I remember using MATLAB back in the day. That sounds like a similar sort of thing.
Why does this take?
Mainly for
MATLAB is similar to Mathematica. Yeah, it's similar.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Keith. That was not very pretty to look at.
No, well, the audio was bad enough.
Oh, you got the audio just in. I didn't get it.
Oh, that's why I took the headphones off. Yeah, absolute screaming in my ears.
It's like,
okay, right.
It's like Kent's stream a few weeks ago. He had a little fun show on his channel there.
Yeah. The good thing about it, though, is they don't come in onto the stream because I actually have to add them in manually.
Right.
And they're all muted and everything. So the only bad thing about it is everyone that sits on the Zoom will get to see that until I actually physically remove them. So I get a little green notification that pops up on my screen that says someone's joined Zoom, so I see it straight away. So as long as I've got the Zoom app opened, I can deal with it pretty quickly. I mean, what did that take me? A few seconds, and they're gone. And I report them as well. Yeah. So it's annoying because then I get this email about 2 to 3 days later from Zoom, and they're going, please tell us what happened and why you were upset about this particular thing. And I'm like, there was a guy who had his anus showing and making really loud sounds, and it was in the middle of a really tasteful, normal thing that we were doing. So I don't think it's appropriate. Please ban this idiot. You know?
Just tell him to go to OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Probably got his OnlyFans. What was annoying though is it was popping, like it was kind of moving around. So they've got some sort of bot that they're using, because when you're in the Zoom application itself, it's hard for you to click on it if it's jumping around. Like if you can imagine all these squares, like you see you've got six squares here. Imagine if my face went randomly into any of those squares, and you have to right click on that square and remove, and you might accidentally remove yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a game. All right, guys. Well, it's midnight here, and I think that's probably a good time for me to say byes.
Yeah. I'm not here next week, Rans. I'm at a wedding next week.
Oh,
so
good luck with the wedding.
I'll be back in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Don't forget, guys.
Yeah, I'll probably join from my hotel room next week. So,
hey guys, a lot of people ask me, how can you support the show? Well, you can that. I don't want that. Just that. If you guys want to, don't forget to click like on the stream. There's only been 18 likes, and there's been more than 18 people watch it. So it does help with the algorithms. Unless we've upset you, then I understand. Then don't watch us. No.
We probably upset people every week.
Have you seen what Wagyu said? Who is lucky wife number 2? I'm not getting married. I'm just going to somebody's wedding. I'm very happy with wife number 1.
Wilfred, audio was good, mate. All good. Do not worry about your audio. It was all good. The only thing that was wrong with it was you were muted at the start. With one thing, if you do come on to Zoom, though, you do have to keep those headphones on, because if I need to tell you to stop talking or something like that, it just really, really helps. So unfortunately, in that case, because you took your headphones off, I had to mute you because we needed to get back to our segment, which we were doing. So there. But no, you're more than welcome to come on anytime. Tell us about whatever it is that you're doing. Obviously, that thing with the Fairlight is really interesting. You guys can check that out in the Discord channel, which I will double check. There it is there. It's also posted regularly in the chat via the chat bot. So, but do join us on Discord. Being a little quiet in Discord, just to be honest, I feel. We did get the topic though from Keith. That was good. Keith and whoever the other guy was. Yeah, great topic. Well done, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. We shall say goodbye and wish you all a great week with your synth. Press record, say good day to your mum, all that sort of stuff. See you, everyone. Toodaloo.
everybody.
Bye. Bye.